As the leader of the Booner pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff Booner, Lucas. We are live. It's Friday, December 27th. We're almost into the new year, fellas. We got a weekend of football, which, again, for those who are tuning in, we'll be live, of course, on Sunday.
Yep, 4:30.
Yep, for the Vikings-Packers game. That'll be great. But another great show. Lots to get to. Lions 49ers. We got our pick'em later in the show as well. We're doing over-unders for the game. A lot of Lions 49ers talk. We'll get some NFL. But before we do that, I got to just mention real quick. And I think the boys, I'd be remiss if I didn't.
Is he?
Nation, stand the fuck
I was like,
up.
for a second, I was like, what is the boy doing? What are we doing here? Okay, I was a little nervous.
We watched me, Boone, and Caleb last night were playing some. We were gaming a little bit. We're watching. We had a bet live for the Pistons game, them to cover 12.5.
The live 12.5 was that was an unbelievable
crazy
pull.
Right?
Great
I mean,
pull.
we're thinking, what are we thinking? We placed the bet. They're down 13 in the fourth quarter. We're thinking, right when the fourth started, we're thinking just cover 12.5. Oh, boys, they didn't just cover. They stole it. And you know what happened? That win sent waves into Sacramento, the entire city.
Yeah, it did.
Shot Mike Brown right out of a cannon. He's gone. They fired Mike Brown because they could not live with themselves that they let Malik Beasley, one of the greatest free agency signings in Pistons history, get hot.
He's been good. You know what?
Get hot. They let him cook. Big mistake by the Kings. And then, of course, Jay Ivey, who, I don't know, I keep forgetting. Can he play basketball? People keep trying to convince me, not you guys, but it's been a conversation that Jay Ivey just stinks. The guy clutch shot, a 4-point play, sunk the game-winning free throw last night, and they beat the Kings. Man, they're 14-17 and they're ninth in the Eastern Conference.
Hey,
35 wins. They're coming for it.
I think the biggest thing to take away from last night is last year they had 14 wins, and you turn around, it's December 27th, and they already have 14 wins, and it's because of Cade Cunningham. I'll say this, Jay Ivey, it was great. Cade Cunningham, first of all,
tear.
Unbelievable player. He is going to be a number one in this league, a superstar. Remember, we had arguments, won't mention names, but off air, we had arguments in group chats that people trying to say, hey, Cade's not a 2 or not a 1. Cade's a 3. Cade's a 4 number option on the team. So like, hey, Jeff, the man, Cade Cunningham is the man. And I'll say this, the city of Detroit, like sports teams in Detroit, they continuously find ways to get other teams' coaches fired. Like the Bears, last year it happened multiple times. Now it's happening with the Pistons are out. Guys, the Detroit Pistons are out there getting coaches fired. Like who would have ever thought that? Like that is crazy. Like the Pistons. I can wear my and I tweeted it out last night because you know what? Fair is fair. Jeff, I told you what my expectation was this year. I said, I don't know if they get to 40 wins. All I wanted is just see life. Like it's year one of a new regime completely. I just wanted to see life. And there is a lot of life and there is a lot of it. Like it is good. Like I love it. I love what JB has brought to this stat. Like I'm all in on him. And last night I tweeted it out. They reeled me right back in. I'm all in.
Just when you thought you were out.
They pulled me right back.
They pull you back in.
Hey, I grew up Pistons. They got a pulse. Pistons were my first team where I was like, I loved basketball. That was my first love. So like when I went at them in the summer, it was no hate. It was, hey, I want this team to be better. The organization.
Oh,
you need to be better, not me.
But guess what?
Pistons. And they've done it. They heard me.
Put my nuts on the table, and I said 35. Okay.
Good for you.
And I got shit for it. No, we're not going to gloss over it.
I also got stuff for Broderick Martin, and I'll take it on the head.
Still
so
are.
You go ahead and take it.
Michael.
I give you credit. That's a great take from you. You can come at me all you want for that. Matty Betts, I had to give pizza to you.
Oh, well, I wasn't bringing up anything else. I was.
You
got it.
Boone took that personal. He took that
No, I
personally.
don't care.
No.
I'm more so concerned about, hey, I thought Tobias Harris was this big signing, was going to be the number 2 option.
That's what I was about
Who
to
would have
ask
said
you.
Malik Beasley's the better one? He's the one that's getting you to 40 wins. Sorry for yelling.
Well, what was the stat given by our dearly loved
30
Sean
wins.
Murphy?
He'll make some 30 wins better.
Might be on track, Boone.
No, but no, it has nothing to do with Tobias. I think Jeff, even last night watching the game with Jeff and Caleb, they both are in agreement. Tobias should not be on the floor at all. If they didn't have Malik Beasley and Cade Cunningham, Tobias might make this team 30 wins worse, and they only had 14 last year. I don't know how you go minus 30, but
yeah,
defensively, oh my god,
he's having a bad year.
Do you think they get active in the trade, like near the trade deadline?
I think they're active. They're active will be taking on expiring deals, but it'll still be contributors. Like there's teams that are trying to get off of guys that are on the last year of their deal that aren't returning. And I could see maybe the Bulls. I mean, if you really, not that they're going to trade him, and I don't think you'd even want to come here, but you have Jimmy Butler available, but I don't think it'll be a big caliber player. I think it'll be a solid. I think they should trade for a big. I mean, if you can get Valanciunas or Vucevic, I'm all for it.
Vooch, give me
he always kills the Pistons, too.
Dude, just a solid 5. Like Duran's been underwhelming this year. I would love that. And
can I say this?
They'll get assets in return, obviously.
Go get you a Vucevic and then go get like another wing. And I'm in, like, because Tobias is like he you could say 4-3-4. Just go get like another wing out there. Like if this was a year where DeMar DeRozan was on like an expiring deal, I would add him to this team. And you have Vooch somehow, and then you have the Cade and Jay Nivey and Asar. This is just me spitballing here. That would be unbelievable. Like a player like that.
I want to mention this too because we watched this late in the
Kuzma, love that.
I want to give a lot. Yeah, Kuzma would be a really good one. Even though hey, we don't want to be that team. Well,
who cares? Who cares? You move past that pretty quick. He's a hometown kid too.
Just like Micah? No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I take it back. I'm kidding.
Now, Kuzma is a hometown kid. I have all the.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. But I want to give credit though. Asar Thompson. Okay, missed a lot of the season. He's been back in the mix. This dude, I'm excited to see him continue to develop his perimeter defense. They had him on De'Aaron Fox late. De'Aaron got him, but just the fact that you can look at Asar and be like, go guard one of the fastest NBA players in the league says something about what his defensive potential is. So I like Asar. He had a tough fadeaway too on the move, which we saw late in the fourth. So I like what they're doing. The Pistons are exciting. They're not. This was supposed to be the year that you see that where they're like 3 games under 500. They're just battling. Like and Caleb said this, and big shout out to Caleb, man. He was spitting in a video he posted on Twitter last night, which you guys should go follow him, by the way. But he said, and it's a bar, last year, the Pistons in the fourth quarter would have lost by 40. This year, they clawed back and won. Like that shows that they play for JB, number one, but number two, they got some guys on that team. They got some hoopers, led by Cade, of course, who's been
the crazy part of it all. And I think this is like the thing that people aren't realizing a little bit is like this team is still so young. Like you do, like Asar is in year 2, and like you have Ron Holland who's in year 1 who's trying to get himself in this rotation and find a path. But like a guy like Asar, like the credit, like there were times last night, I don't know if who watched the game or who didn't, where he did get beat by De'Aaron Fox, but then there was times where he locked up, and it's like within year 3, year 4 of his career, he's not getting beat. Like he's not. Like he's gonna find a way to get that. Like he's gonna figure that out. So I think it's more so like you're trying to figure out a way to win now, and then as well as still develop some of these young guys. And there are young guys to where like developmental. Like I'm done with it. Jalen Duren. It's like, dude, you should have been. You should have gotten to that point. You can't.
Digressed.
Yeah, and you can't like just rely on him, which that's the disappointing part. Like now you can rely on Cade, and you know, like, hey, he's a star in the NBA. Like he has finally hit that mark to where he's grown and like he's developed. Same with Jay Ivey. He's like slowly grown, and you can trust him. But like Jalen Duren, like I remember he kept getting put in the game, and we're all like, oh no, come on, get the man off. Tobias, get the man off.
Well, we said get the man off until Paul Reed had something to say about that. Paul Reed. With Booner,
the worst shot of all time. Let me get a hold of his shot. I'll get that man right.
The ugliest jumper of jumpers, and he cashes. He has a baseline. He had a baseline mid-range shot cash, and then he hit a three in someone's face. And I was like, who is this guy? Paul Reed.
He's unbelievable. I mean, I saw the jumper. The mid-range, I was like, do not let this man ever shoot a shot again. And like 2 possessions later, he blows up a 3 and just smacks it. And I was like, oh, all right. Stand correct.
It was electric, Weezy. You're absolutely right. Yeah. And by the way, to people talking about Duren, like Duren, I will say lately he's been better. But the whole season, from what I thought of Jalen Duren, and Sam Flannel knows this. Obviously, we've talked a lot about it, and you guys know this. I was very high on Duren. He's been disappointing in the totality of the year. Now, if we can get what we've seen the last couple of games for the rest of the year, yeah, cool, great. But I'm still getting Vucevic. Give me Vucevic.
Yeah. I think there's like a sense with Duren where it's like he shows these spurts. Like he goes on a week or two of stretch where you're like, there we go.
You see it. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, boom, he's bad for a week. And you're like, dude, if you could be consistent at like your peak, you could be a really good center in the NFL.
All the tools.
NBA. But like the consistency, like a lot of players in the NBA, dude, you struggle with that. That's why some guys don't make it. Like they have the high upside, and then they're just a career 10th man the rest of their career. Because
I think JB's getting him to play a lot more. I mean, his post defense this year, I think he's averaging a career high in blocks. I could be wrong. I last time I checked, I'm like, okay, this is what we expected out of Jalen Duren, is to be like a rim protector. Be active. So hopefully you get to see more of that. But yeah, boys, I would be remiss. The Pistons, 9th seed, come on. Hey, play in. And by the way, not that it's funny. Okay, it's not funny. It's very unfortunate. Obviously, we want the Red Wings to be good. But we're going to have a little talk with Mike later, because they fired their head coach and hired an old face this literally minutes later. It was so I don't know. The Red Wings are trying to turn the culture around a little bit. So, Mike, don't worry. I don't even got beef with any of you guys. I got beef with Gentry. Okay, we have a little back and forth. And this year, it's looking like I'm winning the year. Okay, that's what.
Can I give some positive on the Wings? Can we just do a little positive?
Go ahead.
I'm just like the fact that they're like typically, and this is not an attack at you and the Pistons, Jeff. This is not that. But typically, Tom Gores waits until like, what is the term? Hell is frozen over, to be like, oh, we could probably make a move now, make a change. At least Stevie Y, 30 games into the season, is like, hey, we have a roster that should be in the playoffs and compete. And like, we're so far out right now. Like, at least he realized it. Like Tom Gore's like incompetent sometimes. He just never could realize like when to pull the trigger. And it's like, he just like, I'm just going to let these guys mess up the organization more, and then we'll pull the trigger and we'll start from nothing. At least Stevie Y is like, okay, let's try and fix this thing up before like it's all over. So that I respect. Like Todd McClellan, great hire. Like he's been in Detroit. He knows Stevie Y. Like he's won a Stanley Cup in Detroit as an assistant coach. Yeah. Like he knows what it's about. He knows what Hockey Town's about. And he's been good in the NHL as a coach. So at least, and this isn't a shot at you and Tom Gores. You know how my relationship with Tom Gores. But at least Stevie Y decided to pull the trigger a little earlier. That's the positive.
Well, by the way, we're getting more and more people in here, and yeah, we'll talk to Mike later. I'm sure I want to get Mike's get like
only 30 games in. I don't think they're cooked. I don't know. Easy said they're cooked. I could be wrong.
That team is
I've watched recently. Not good. Like I think they might be losing now. I think I turned it on a little bit. They were like down 2-0 early, but I always hold hope.
I know.
I do for the Pistons.
There'll be a run late in the season, make them look competitive. That'll be their year next year.
It's not the same, man.
And I'll talk to Mike sometimes on the it'll get, I'll check in with him, see what's going on. And he's even been like, this team's.
Everyone seems to be saying they're cooked. I tried to think like, hey, boys, come on.
When Mike's saying it, it's true. Mike's like, this team stinks. Like, this team absolutely stinks. But hey,
brutal, dude. Oh,
hey, speaking of Gentry, we mentioned Caleb. We got things cooking behind the scenes.
Things are happening.
Are trying to find a way to increase content and provide more content for you all. Obviously, we do a show 5 days a week, plenty of videos, plenty of reels, lives for Lions games, and we're going to start doing something new, which we're very excited for, and we're excited for Mike and Caleb, of course. But on Saturday mornings, we will have a new show. Yeah, you heard me right, a new show. Saturday mornings on Crunch Time Sports.
Oh, I want the double bang right now.
And Caleb Harnick are joining forces to take over Saturday mornings in Detroit. They'll be live 10 to 11 a.m.
Look at those fellas.
If you guys want to hold Mike accountable for his Red Wings takes, you'll know where to find him. He'll be there. They're talking, obviously, all Detroit sports. We spend a lot of time on the Lions because that's what's big right now. But Caleb and Mike will talk Lions, but they'll have an opportunity there 10 to 11 on Saturdays to kind of break more down, get into different topics, have a more variety with content. So Saturday mornings, new show here in Crunch Time Sports. It'll be great. I'm excited for these two, man. They're gonna do great. That's what electric.
Up for the boys. I can't wait. I'm going to be tuned in every Saturday morning too. I'll be in the chat. The boys will be rolling. I think actually tomorrow, some special guests. I think I'm hopping on the show in the morning tomorrow with the boys. I'm pumped up.
Mike is going to start the following week. He has a scheduling conflict this Saturday. Can't make it, but next Saturday, Mike's back. So Mike and Caleb next Saturday. But we start tomorrow, but those two every Saturday be cooking.
I'll be on the show with a cup of coffee. Hey, this is the boys cooking too. This is Caleb's already he's sending over prep. Like I told Caleb today too. I said, bro, go out there and make like fun do what you got. Hey, be you boys. Go have a good time. I'm pumped up for the show.
Caleb's so fucking good too.
He has such a good content mind, man.
Yeah, they're gonna get their back.
Caleb's gonna do a great job. Unc obviously will too, but I can't wait to see what those two do. It's gonna be great too because Caleb's full of opinions. Like Caleb, like he gets the tinfoil hat on. Probably he's a wizard hat. I think we could call Caleb a wizard hat.
That's fair.
But he's got great.
I don't hate that actually.
No, I mean Caleb could, but like I can't talk about baseball. Like Caleb could tell you about baseball front and back. I could tell you about some Pistons, but Caleb, man, knows his basketball.
I'll say this. I love one of my favorite people in sports, like in sports media too, are those people who have like those opinions where you're like what? Like, whoa. Like you want a guy who is like that is Maz. Maz says like, you're like, what? And I'm not, this is a good comparison. Caleb reminds it's like some of the stuff he says, I'm like, that's crazy, bro. But he's so passionate about it, and it's so entertaining, man. And then
he's the type of dude. He wakes up with the feeling and he doesn't let it go. Like he wakes up, he's like, that's
until proven wrong.
Wake up from a dream,
Until
like
proven wrong.
To not believe it.
Like today, I thought it was one of the funniest things today. He posted the stuff about the Tigers. Like he was so adamant that there's no way. I think Colt Keith is moving to first base. There's no way. And he is on Twitter for hours battling it, like going at people. And then all of a sudden, Scott Harris, the president of the team, comes out and goes, yeah, we're moving Colt Keith to first base. And then Caleb's like, oh, yeah. And like, dude, we were in group chats and he's arguing in there like in group chats. Like, there's no way he gets moved to first base. And like within hours, he gets moved. And I think that stuff's so funny, though. Like, it's so entertaining to me. I like people who have takes, man. Go out on a limb a little bit.
That's I love Levi. He's not making the team, and dude, starting to make an impact plays, and you just can't do anything about it. You just are so wrong about something.
Yeah, that's
what you're like.
Matty Betts. I love the Matty Betts train. That was a good time.
That was a good time.
Caleb with the Scott Harris doesn't know what I know. Well, that's true. That's fair.
I don't think anyone knows what Caleb knows.
By the way, Klotz, and I'm sorry, I'm throwing this whole thing off. Did you guys see Bryce Underwood today?
I did see the clip. I did see the
Hey,
clip
or-
out there. He's out there.
Wow.
I was too busy. Hey,
That's a
why would I
big
care
deal.
about Bryce Underwood when Toledo went into 6 overtime with Pitt
That
and
was
pulled
last-
out that W?
Well,
Ford
Bryce
Field?
Underwood
That's what
was
I
today.
watching highlights
Bryce
of this
Underwood was today. The Toledo game was last
Still
night. So
Yeah,
you must have
I'm
just
still
saw the
watching it.
It's
Yeah, you watched it late. I'm actually watching it in real time. Here, hey, Bryce Underwood is a monster.
He's a
That's
big
a quarterback.
That's number 8. He's number 8. God.
That's a quarterback, Klotzy.
Yeah.
He is huge.
Yeah,
He's got aura.
And he's got a cannon.
You better hope they fire. Well, not you. I better hope
Oh
they
my
fire
gosh.
Ryan Day. That's all I'm saying.
Bro, that when
But
I saw
it's-
that video,
I don't care. I don't care if they beat Oregon. If the clouds in Columbus right now, they're dark. They're gloomy. Like they're still going to be like, I'm sorry if they don't change something massively. Like Michigan is like about to overcome the whole like negative Sharon Moore narrative where it's like they can't win anything. They're going to by default with the talent that they have. They're going to have success, let alone in the Big Ten. But they're already beating Ohio State with less talent. And now they're recruiting like that, and it's like you have to bring something different to Ohio State because it's not working. As long as Ryan Day is there, Bryce Underwood, he's gonna have a Heisman like type of
it's gonna be
situation
so good
to end the
too,
year
man.
every time. Like I'm not gonna be the guy to say like, hey, Bryce Underwood's gonna suck. Like no, Bryce Underwood's gonna be good. It's better for Michigan to be good for college football. I can't stand Michigan, but as Ohio State fan, like there's nothing I could say. Like Ryan Day just got to go.
Well,
like that's terrifying.
Did you hear Booner's guy, Kirk Herbstreit? Did you hear his opinion on Ryan Day? He's obviously an Ohio State guy. He went to battle for him. You
could go to battle for him all you want.
He said you guys might be a little spoiled. You had like an 80% win percentage, 90% win percentage, and
that's what you're supposed. That's like one checked box at Ohio State. Like they have a top 5 recruiting class every year. Like it doesn't matter who the coach is. People are still going to want to go play for Ohio State. Now Ryan Day is a good recruiter, but you don't go to be a coach at Ohio State to beat Penn State and lose to Michigan, and then you don't win a big game. Like okay, great. You were able to beat a true freshman quarterback in Tennessee at home. Great atmosphere. Will Howard didn't look average. Team looked good. But next week are the games you have to win. Against Oregon, a team that you lost to, Big Ten rival. Like, this will be a game that I'd be willing to bet as an Ohio State fan, they do not win. But yet Ryan Day will still be there, and that's the level that they've been at the last 4 years.
Yeah, I think the Mike Vrabel thing's over, too, by the way. I think he's going to the NFL.
As he should.
Yeah, that's the pipe dream's over. Yeah, it looks like Ryan Day, he's getting a little comfortable over there.
Elevate Heartline, go give Matt Campbell a bag, do something, but get Ryan Day gone.
I love how you know what too? I love how serious you guys take like Michigan. Like you guys really hit a nerve with you.
The
guys
Hassan Haskins game just changed everything for me as an Ohio State football fan.
I mean, this last week game should have you. That
yeah,
changed
but it's like,
everything.
am I really at this point? It's like just
21-point favorites.
21-point
favorites is crazy.
It's my fault. You look at a rattlesnake, you see the tail like rattling, and you expect.
How's that M look?
Did you know?
Is it still there?
Honestly, boys, my hair kind of grows back fucked a little bit. It's like a little patchy in a spot. Once I get lingering effect. I'm gonna grow it out, though, boys. I think I'm gonna grow the hair out.
Are you serious?
One last time, yeah.
One last
you guys
time.
Haven't seen Klotzy with the flow.
I mean, what's the one last time? You're like,
I'm not gonna be 30 years old with a head of hair. I like the short look, but I was like, grow it out.
Definitely I bet you at some point in your life you're gonna have long hair at some point. The fact you said one last time.
I like the hair short, but I just one last time.
Just goes bald after that.
Yeah, he's obviously
my
one last
bald.
time.
My dad's bald. My brother's at 37 now, bald.
You should stop shaving your hair then, because eventually it's not going to come back.
Yeah, but why? I just want to get used to it.
That's fair.
It's the inevitable.
Start going to 0 and get that razor.
Straight bald.
Hey, well, fellas, I want to before we get to, I have a clip here, AG talking about Iffy, which we will get to the offense and the defense. But first, I do want to play this clip, or not clip, excuse me, show you guys the injury report, because it's updated now. It's Friday, so you got some more information regarding some players. Obviously, Dave Montgomery, he's not on the injury reserve, so he's just not practicing. But you have Jaron Arnold, light practice. He's back after an illness, light practice. So that's good news, positive news. We'll see what happens with him. Graham Glasgow, full practice all week with the knee. So he's back. No more. The Christian Mahogany era is over for right now. He'll be back when they need him. But this week, Graham's back. Khalif Raymond, look at that. Full practice.
That's insane.
And Jalen Reeves Maben, Germ, full practice. So we'll see what happens with those guys. But their windows are open. So they could play this game or next game, they'll be back. So that's good news. Khalif and Germ.
I don't know if it'll be this way. I think the full practice thing too, like we saw for a little bit. I can't remember who it was. There's a couple of guys that came off the IR this year who were full practice, like Emmanuel Mosley.
Yeah, Emmanuel
different, but like there's guys who were full practice for weeks before they even got their first rep.
Yeah.
The only reason they're full practice, obviously, like their clock was open, like started.
Yep.
So like they're out there a go. It just depends. Like I wouldn't be shocked if Khalif and Germ both don't play.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will.
They could full practice for a couple of weeks. They just had to get back into things and get their feet under them and just get a feel for everything again. Make sure you're back in shape. Dan Campbell always says that just get your heart rate up a little bit. You got to get back in that game shape. Probably something I should do is get my heart rate up.
There you go. I can't. I mean, that's huge though. Like, obviously not for this week. I agree with you, Boone. You're not going to see either of them though. But Jalen Reeves Maben to this linebacking room is huge because even like. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a strength, but against in pass coverage, Jalen Reeves Maben is not that bad, and that's going to be important in the playoffs. He's a vet, really good on special teams. He's the captain on special teams. And then Khalif Raymond, obviously an element on offense, but where I think he's extremely valuable is like very rarely do you see a bad Khalif Raymond return. He's always putting this offense in a good situation. Sometimes he makes a smart play and just calls a fair catch, obviously. But he's always trying to get those extra yardage. And he's a guy that doesn't fumble, doesn't muff kicks. And we've seen him return a couple to the crib. And he usually has a good game or two, specifically in special teams against the Vikings. So hopefully he's good to go back then. But as little as these players may seem in when you look at Penei Sewell, Jared Goff, like you look at Jalen Reeves Maben and Khalif Raymond, you're like, okay, whatever. But those guys are very key contributors for him. So I'm excited to get those fellas back.
Yeah, Germ's a big one, and especially like think about it. You get Anzo back. That linebacker room is. I know you don't have Rodrigo and you don't have Derek Barnes, but that linebacker room when you're talking about Alex Anzalone, Jack Campbell, Germ, Ben Neiman, Trevor Nowaski, Pittman. Now you have dudes now that you're able to throw in there. And actually, who was it? AG spoke about it today, like how important like some of these guys that they have playing like. They love him. Like they love like Ben Neiman. Like he's like Ben Neiman can play literally any position at linebacker. Like he can go anywhere he wants, and we can trust him. So, like now you're starting to get more guys back. Defensively, that's big. Like
reinforcements.
Huge. It's huge. And people were like, "Hey, we're dead." They're far from dead because now guys are going to start coming back. What's dead right now is the pass rush. If they can figure that out, but everything else, it's like, hey. Jeff, I know you're like, they have a beat. They have a couple beats, brother. Things are happening.
There's a pulse. They're getting more life. They still might be on some life support right now, but they're getting more. No,
life. They're off life support, Klotz. They're off.
Outside of let's look at this. Let's look at this pass rush. Let's look at this linebacking core. Let's look at this secondary compared to what.
Yeah, and they still won by three possessions.
I'm saying, Boone, literally like injury wise, like their injuries, they have the most injuries a defense.
They're talking about Super Bowl life support.
No, I'm saying like this is a banged up team. Like they are hurting.
Yeah, you got to be a little clear on that next time. I'm protective over here of the Lombardi Trophy.
It's all right, Boone. I understand. Hey, me and you both agree. They'll be dancing in that bowl.
Love dancing in bowls.
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so. I really do. I really hope so. I would say they got a pulse.
I hate how he doesn't have that confidence.
But I think it's just I've turned from. I don't know. I'm going to get into it. I think reinforcements. I'll say this: reinforcements. Anyone can help, because if I'm being honest, and I'm just asking you guys this, and I was thinking about this today. When you get into a playoffs against these NFC playoff teams, what position group on defense will you have the advantage of besides safeties?
I really don't care about
going head to head with the offense,
like
or just compared to other defenses. Like, You know,
that to me is like an irrelevant. Like you go head to head defensive, like you go up against different offensive units.
Do you hear what I'm compared to other playoff teams? I'm just making a comparison.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but like I just think this
defenses don't face each other. But
even in the past, though, and the defense, like last year, they didn't have the best defense, but AG found a way to get the job done. So
when
I
you
think
get Anzo coming back, I think Anzo, Jack Campbell, and if it's Germ, whoever, like I just think Anzo and Jack Campbell alone, like you'll have a better linebacking core. Like Eagles, like you'd say what you want, like they have a good linebacking core. I'm taking those two over them. The Rams, I'd take them over there. I'd give the Bucs because they have Levante David, like that dude's a future Hall of Famer. But linebacker and safety, like the middle of the field, they have some advantage over some teams. I agree with you. Like on the outside, cooked with no Carlton Davis. Defensive line, cooked with no Aiden Hutchinson.
You find different ways. It doesn't matter.
I agree. You find ways. Boone, I'm with you. I'm just saying to what Jeff is saying. Like defensively, the other teams have better defenses. I
think it's good to say like head to head, like who's got this position groups. Who like that's cool. But like to me in the playoffs, it's like who's putting the better scheme together? What coaches win the battles? Like I think I'm taking AG over a lot of these DCs.
That's true, but
besides Spags, maybe Spags is
at the end of the day, players play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like we've seen it last year.
I wish AG could play corner right now. I really do. I wish he could still.
Maybe he can.
You never know. You know, maybe he could just suit up. We get like what was prime AG? That wasn't the Jets? That was Texans.
Houston.
Oilers. Was that Oilers?
No, they're the Texans.
Yeah, that was Texans. Okay, so that get that AG, okay, and I'll feel good. But yeah, that's all I was bringing up. Just I'm like, that's the one thing. So my point is the offense, man. You're gonna have to do some work. Okay, that's what's really gonna happen here. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's known. Thanks, brother.
He
hated that. He hated that.
I don't. It was confusing. I don't know. Yeah, of course we agree. Now, is it sustainable? We'll see, brother. You know, we'll see. We'll see with that.
No.
But
you know what, Jeff? I'll say here. I apologize. I didn't mean to hit you with that. I apologize.
No, I'm joking.
It's good, bro. It's good. I swear.
All right. Well,
what are you talking about over there, Klotz? You want to talk Trevor Nowoski?
Well, hold on. I want to ask you guys this. I have a question for the offense. Because speaking of the offense, okay, Jahmyr Gibbs runs it back this week. Okay, as RB1. You're going to have this offense out there. We obviously expect them to score points. That's like the thing every week. That's just what they do. Whatever. What do you guys expect out of the offense this week? And not just in terms of scoring points, but which players do you think will have highlight some players here and kind of look at maybe some players you think will cause the 49ers the most problems? Okay. How do they dominate this game? If they're going to, and we believe it, how do they do it? Which players are you guys kind of looking at to step up this week?
You want to be honest with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think, and this is just me, you asked for players. I don't know in this offense, and I hate to do it because it feels like it's the easy way out, and you guys are going to be like, oh, Booner, you have to pick someone. I think just this offense as a whole, like they're about to put up 40+ on this 49ers team, and you're about to see big plays from J-Mo. You're about to see a consistent game from Amon-Ra. You're about to see Sam Laporta in big spots, make a couple big-time catches and get like 40, 50 yards. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get 30 touches just like he did last week. And I think Jared Goff is going to go out there and throw for 300, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, and have a game. And I know that's being like, well, Booner, they all can do. Yeah, they can. They've done it multiple times this year. I'm starting to look at this game more so on that 40+ points kind of mark, like you're going up against the Titans or these different teams, just based off what the 40 teams have done against the 49ers, like the Bills and the Packers. You're the best offense in the NFL. If I had to pick a player, I mean, Jeff, as much as this is an easy way out, I think all of the players eat on Monday night. I truly do. Like we've seen games. We've seen games. I don't know, but we've seen games with J-Mo and Amon-Ra with 100 and Laporta with 60, 70 and Jahmyr with 100 all-purpose and Jared going for 300. Like we've seen those games. We've seen them. And that's where I think like Jared Goff has a big Monday night, a big one. Like I think he goes out there and he tries to make a statement a little bit, and they all know it, and they all know like, hey, this is what it's going to be. And I think Jared Goff throws for 300, maybe 350, and then multiple touchdowns. I truly do. I truly do. And then obviously, I mean, if Jared's throwing for 350, you're telling me J-Mo's not going to go out and get 70+ and Amon-Ra's not going to have 70+. Yeah, they both are. So they're all eating. Now you see where my formula is here. You catching it?
Yeah. I'll do this. Okay. If
I need to pick a player, just let me know. I'll do it at the end here of the segment.
It'd be nice because I have a player in mind. I have a player in mind. I know who it is. It's the man that last year in the NFC Championship game had two of them things. It's going to be Jameson Williams. Okay, I think about it like this. And you brought this up to us earlier, Klotzy. I think it's a good talking point. He's 110 yards away from 1,000. They asked him about it today. He's aware. He knows what 1,000 yards would mean. This week, Amon-Ra, the focus will be on him. Obviously, to your point, Booner, you are correct. Like the offense, the passing game is going to be hard to stop as it is. I mean, I agree with that. But I think Jamo, he's coming off leading the team in receiving, having a monster game against the Bears. I think that confidence does carry over, and I think a lot of attention will be on the bigger players, stopping Amon-Ra, watch Laporta. Jamo, obviously there'll be, hey, you got to watch out for Jamo, but it's easier said than done, okay? No one on that team's running with Jamo. So I can see Jamo, another bomb, I wouldn't be shocked if he has 100 yards. I'm serious. Like this man is locked in. He's keyed in to get 1,000, and I think Jamo has a big day on Monday night. I wouldn't be surprised if they run back the end around. Maybe run it back. But I'm going to go Jamo on offense. I think he's going to be big time this Monday night. I think so.
Yeah, I'm right there with that. I was going to say Jamo. I think if I had to pick another one, it would be Gibbs. And I think the reason is this 49ers team, like you said, Jeff, they're still a good defense, but they're physical defense. And you look, where's their strength? They still have a good defensive line. It's not what their 49ers defensive line normally is, but still a respectable defensive line. You got Fred Warner. I know there's no Dre Greenlaw, but Fred Warner is the best linebacker in the league. You cannot not even deny that. And then in the safety room, they got Hufanga back there. So that middle of the field is going to be real, very that's where their strength is. So I think Laporta has a day, but I still think there's plays where like Fred Warner is going to get the best of him. And you see Hufanga making a play here or there when there's no coverage. But Jahmyr Gibbs, physical defense, what breaks it is speed. Like you can use physical with physical, but if you have speed in there, it puts that physical defense on their toes. And I think like same thing with you were saying with Jamo. Like nobody can keep up with Jamo. Nobody in that front seven or in that secondary can keep up with Jahmyr Gibbs. And he's the best football player on the field when he's out there outside of maybe Penei Sewell. So you just keep giving the ball to Jahmyr. You keep feeding the wide receivers, but I think Jahmyr is due for a big game, and I think his speed will kill this 49ers defense, just like it has practically every other defense he's went up against.
Yeah, I think both of them are great choices.
You know what his line is? Before you go, you know what his line is? We'll get to it. It's high for Jahmyr. I guess not in a bad way. But
probably 130.
They got him. Hey, they got that all-purpose line.
You do have to think, though, and you know what? I was doing it all year. I was taking his and I kept handing it out, his all-purpose all year. It was at like 80 all season long. And then obviously with DMOT, it goes up to 125, 130. Like it's constantly going, over. But think about this though. Like he hit his line in halftime last week versus the Bears. At halftime, he had like 130. And so like I think this week, you have to move it higher. And I would think he gets a similar amount of carries and same production. I'm gonna stick with mine though. Like I love Jahmyr, I love Jamo. I'm going to stay consistent with the Amon-Ra and Laporta. I think we're at the point of the season to where there's going to be no more down games from them. That I think they're both going to be very consistent because you need that out of them. Like you need it. Like for Jamo to have big games, you need Amon-Ra to be taking guys away. You need Sam Laporta to be, in the middle of the field taking bodies. I'll just stick this. You guys said, "Oh, Booner, you didn't pick." I did pick a player. Jared Goff, big game again. I'm sticking with Jared Goff.
Yeah, that's a player.
I know he might not have a chance to be in the MVP conversation, and people might put him off of that, but I think there's still that thing where it's like they're playing for the NFC North, they're playing for the 1 seed, and they're still sitting there like he needs to have big games. And like if you look at his last few games, I'll pull it up here real quick. Like last week, I said 350. You guys said it acted like it was crazy. He threw for 336 and 3 touchdowns versus the Bears. Like, why can't he do that versus the 49ers? Why can't he get 300 plus? Give me 300 plus for Jared Goff and a couple tutties. He might end up being the legacy player this week.
The California kid out there.
Yeah, back at home.
He'll be chilling. Hey, by the way, shout out Nobody. Just became a Crunch member, so we appreciate it.
Is that Flannel's burner?
Yeah,
that's when he was losing his mind. That was a Jamo bot moment. That was definitely a Jamo bot or a Mahomes moment.
I'll tell you what, and I hope Flannel's still in here because some of my favorite moments in sports, like Detroit sports media, is when I get a text in our group. flannel breakdown or flannel moment right now.
Flannel
All-time flannel
snapped.
moment. And we like, boom, I had to go turn around instantly. Like I wish it happened every day, but for my Flannel's my friend, for his sanity, mental sanity is, I think is the word. He can't do that every day, but I love those moments. Love them.
Hold on. Never mind. Side note. By the way, that Jokic points, rebounds, assists is high as hell. That just shows.
It's always that big. He averages the most points, rebounds, assists in the NBA right now at like 54 or something. Are you out on that?
That's high. I just checked his last couple of games.
Are you out on that?
I don't know if I like it. Dude.
Do you want to take the triple double? Caleb texted me.
I'd rather take the triple double if that's that long. That's
I'm only taking. I'm gonna tell the people. I'm taking 2 bets tonight. I'm gonna take. I guess we're sticking Jokic triple double, and the second one I'm doing. And Jeff, I expect you to do it because yesterday you said you're gonna run my 2 straight bets Friday night with me. We're taking the over in USC Texas A&M over 54.5. It's a 10:30 game. Okay, we could play some PGA and we can.
No, I'm with Caleb. I like the triple double over the.
All right, we're taking it.
That's
all right.
Yeah, I like the triple double. But yeah, I listen. I think the biggest storyline besides all the offensive weapons, honestly, and something it's like a side note I'm excited to see is which running back besides Jahmyr starts getting more and more involved because they talked about it. Little Vaki, little Jahmyr, little Craig. I'm curious over the next 2 games who they tend to lean more on, or if it'll just be collective by the end of the year. But there's got to be one, right? There's got to be one that, or 2 maybe, that edge out the other guys.
I think it'll be Craig.
I'm thinking it's going to be Craig, and then in the pass game, I think they'll throw in some Vaki. I don't think Jahmyr might be the one that probably gets like, he's off to the side a little bit, but. I don't know, Vaki. They haven't really ran the ball with him, but they love it. He's good in the passing game.
He had a couple, I think 1 or 2 catches, but I'm with you on that.
Out there.
Mini Austin Eckler. I think it's smart though, like to keep him on a rotation because defensively, like you don't know what's a game plan for, and they all bring different skill sets. Like Craig's kind of that bruiser. Jahmyr Jefferson, he can't really do what Vaki brings in the pass game, but as a runner, like in between the tackles, especially at the point in their careers, like I trust Jahmyr Jefferson, like running the ball on like a 2nd and 3 to pick up a first down, 2nd and 6, maybe pick up a first down, and then Vaki out of the backfield. And we remember in the preseason, like Vaki was knocking people on their fucking ass in pass protection.
Yeah, he was.
He was a former safety at Utah, All-American. Like he knows what it takes to rush the passer. So I think pass protection wise, like between him and Craig Reynolds, they're both confident out there.
I think too, like there's a sense like if like there's an opportunity that they end up not having to play guys in the week 18, and like Jahmyr will play, but if that week 18 matchup doesn't matter at all, like dude, you just not hit the lottery, but like you just won a good lottery ticket, like you just hit for a couple thousand because like now you're sitting there and you're like the next game you have to play, like it's Demont's back. So like, and I love Craig and I love Savaki and Jahmyr Jefferson, like great players, great people. But like if Demont's back, even with that MCL, like you're going Gibbs and Demont. Like that's what it is. Mm-hmm. And like if you can get the 1 seed locked up and week 18, you don't have to go, like it doesn't matter. So it's like, hey, Craig, Vaki, Jahmyr, you guys just get your guys' run in. Like Gibbs can do a half and then he's out. And then you guys just go out there and it's a field day for you guys. And it doesn't even matter. Like this conversation, irrelevant at that point, right? Like that's how I look at it. Like this potentially is the last game you even have to think about that because you might not be playing for anything week 18 and then you'll have Demont back.
Well, Diggity Dog says, is Demont's timeline confirmed?
I think Ian Rappaport had put out there, he said their expectation is him to be back for the divisional round. So if you get the 1 seed, that's if you get the 1. So if you get the 1 seed, he's back for the playoffs. Now, if you drop and get the 5 seed, then obviously the first playoff game, you're probably not. You don't have a Demont. And then this conversation is very relevant, especially in a playoff game. You're having that conversation. But even then, I don't know if you guys are on the same page as me. If you're in a playoff game, Jahmyr Gibbs is getting 40 touches. Like there's no rotation at that point, in my opinion. Like that's why I think like this week might be the only week that you're sitting there like, and then week 18, I guess, if you're playing for something, then that's a conversation. But like if you're in the playoffs, if you maybe want to get him a couple rests here and you can get Craig in for a carry or 2 or Vaki in for a pass block, but like Gibbs is going. You're a top 15 pick. You're going. You're 12th overall.
Another huge game from Gibbs. Is that where we're going?
If you're in the playoffs and don't have D-Mont and you're on the road.
But this week.
Oh, this week.
Yeah, another huge game.
Is Jahmyr Gibbs on the field? Is he healthy? Yes, because he still have the best offensive line in football in front of him. Yes, it's going to be a big game from Gibbs.
Yeah, I will say, although it's never I wish D-Mont was here, obviously, but it is nice
on the show.
I would love that. It would be awesome. I love watching the Jahmyr Gibbs experience. I think it's a fun experience to watch him get all the carries. Just to see, like, if he can handle it, but which he can, but just to see it, like him as a true RB1, no shared backfield, and getting what do you have? 27 touches last game, like it's a lot. You can't do that for a whole season. You can't. No, you can't. If you want to re-sign him, you can't. This is where I'm a little with your running back.
You remember Jeff said that he said he would re-sign him.
Well, if you re-sign him, you want to, like, these are like, I'm not giving him the ball 40 times in a game. Like, you want to all those carries, save those carries, stretch those out throughout the years, man. You don't need him going a whole season with 40 carries a game. That's crazy.
Are you saying that you did not say that?
He did.
We were at a watch stream, and I remember Jahmyr Gibbs breaking down the sideline on a 51-yard reception where he just looked like and you know what you said? Re-sign him. Yeah, re-sign him. Yeah. Keep him around. Jeff, re-sign him. You like watching the Jahmyr Gibbs experience?
I do enjoy it.
Pick up a little
how about this cop out? We'll get when we get to it, we'll get to it. We'll see what the asking price is.
It's going to become a more run-heavy league. You want the better running backs.
Man.
See? He is special, man. There's no denying that. He's a weapon. And you're seeing it more and more every week, them involving him in the passing game. And he's getting he's had a consistent last couple of weeks. I mean, he had 4 for 40 last week, I'm pretty sure. He's been he's not just getting checked. I mean, he's getting some checkdowns, but he's making them count. That dude's making some plays out there. He's really when he was advertised as Alvin Kamara and advertised as kind of this receiver running back hybrid, you're starting to see it come to fruition.
I think, I would think right now, and maybe you guys disagree, but Jahmyr Gibbs, I think it's Saquon, Derrick Henry,
Jahmyr Gibbs.
I mean, if Christian McCaffrey's healthy, then you would say Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, this year.
But I'm saying right now, with the injuries and everything, if you're talking about in the NFL today, I think you go Saquon, Derrick Henry, or Jahmyr Gibbs. And then after that, you could go with whoever you want. I really don't care. But I think that's And then if Christian McCaffrey comes back, okay, that he's top 4, but he's considered in that realm.
Honestly, there's not a running back. There's not a running back in the NFL that they can do something that Jahmyr Gibbs can't, outside of maybe Saquon Barkley with a reverse hurdle. Besides that, you ask Jahmyr Gibbs to go get you 100 yards. He can do it with speed. He can do it with power. He can catch the ball. There's nothing that man can't do. That when you try to have other running backs like a Josh Jacobs, for example, Josh Jacobs cannot do the thing that Jahmyr Gibbs does. Josh Jacobs can break more tackles, but Jahmyr Gibbs, like I said, he is a very powerful running back, and he's way more elusive. It's a different style, but as far as just a complete running back,
well, I think with even that, Klotz, I would say, you said Saquon. I would say Saquon, I would even I just can't leave Derrick Henry out of those conversations. I don't care if it's we're talking about overall, catching out of the backfield. I've seen Derrick Henry catch the ball and make a move. And obviously, elusiveness, and different athletic ability we're talking about. But if we're talking about just overall running back, it's still Saquon and Derrick. And then if Christian's healthy, but I think it's fair. Before we're he's top 5, he's right outside of that elite level. He is now in that elite level. Think about if he had the usage that some of these guys had. If he was those are guys who don't have they have their room is that.
Yeah, he would probably have 1,500 yards.
So you see what he did last week versus the Bears. That was without an RB2. Imagine if he had that for 17 games. Then you're looking at, okay, he is putting the same numbers up as Saquon and Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey. That's where I look at it like that. I think it's just there's elite, and that's those 4 guys, and then there's great and good, and then it's and then average. So I think there's that argument.
Yeah, to
there's no question too.
Saquon, there's things that Derrick Henry can do that no one else can do, but there's things Jahmyr Gibbs can do that no one else can do.
Yeah.
Everyone. That's what makes them all super. They're special. All those guys. Mm-hmm. I expect him to have a big day. I do. I think this defense is another opportunity for this defense on a big stage, prime time, to kind of see what they can do. AG talked about Iffy Melifonwu, so I'm going to play the clip of him kind of speaking about the Lions safety who came back last week. Hey, had a good game. Let's see what AG had to say about him.
Iffy just seemed like he was very vocal in his communication, like he saw it really well, and obviously he's been in your scheme from the start. When you're plugging and playing a bunch of new pieces, how valuable is it to have somebody that's such a strong communicator to kind of hold that thing together for you?
Well, listen, I demand that out of our safeties as far as the communication part. Just like our Mike linebacker, they're really the linebackers of the secondary. And they have to make sure that everybody on the same page. Listen, if he goes through every walkthrough, he's been in every meeting, so that doesn't surprise me, and I expect that from him anyway. He's a very intelligent player. Again, he plays a lot of different positions for us, so he has to be able to communicate at a high level. So being able to do that, coming back after in this game, man, I expected that.
Hey, I will say with Iffy, I don't know if they'll re-sign him. But I really hope they do. I don't know what he's gonna. I don't think he'll even command like a lot of money because he's been.
I don't think he can.
Yeah, he can't. I mean, and I don't know if another team out there might sign him and he might get a better deal. It would very well could happen. But if they have the opportunity, man, he's a very good player. Like he came back first game off an injury, missed the entire season, and just looked good. Just looked very solid. He's already one of your right now with this defense, how it's shaped up with the injuries. He's easily what I'd say a top 4 player on your defense. When you say 3, why if you really go through it, Branch, Kirby, Jack. And like
DJ Reader.
But he's up
Zedarius.
there. He's up there.
Yeah, I would say too, like with Iffy, the thing is too, like last week, even some of the coaches had brought it up. Like he was still rusty. Like he looked good and like statistically wise, but I think some of the reasons they were talking about it was like maybe in coverage and some of like the decision making. Maybe it was a little bit more. That was where he's rusty at. But you saw him like even the first play. I brought it up when I did the show Monday and Tuesday. Like even him getting to the quarterback, like the first play of the game, first pass play of the game for the Bears, it's Iffy Melifonwu, and he misses, like clear misses. But it's like, hey, he hasn't played all season. That was like his first pass like defensive play snap all season, and he runs right back past the quarterback. So like those are things that typically like Iffy Melifonwu is not missing. Like he's sacking the quarterback in those situations. So the fact that he did what he did last week, and like it's like he just got off IR and they're like, hey, we need you to go in there and take 80% of the snaps. We need you. And like he stepped up and did it, and he communicates, and he like they love him obviously. I think it's more so for him. And I think, Jeff, like to your point, like, yeah, I would love to sign Iffy at the end of the season. It's just interesting. Like, I don't think he might get some like looks depending on how he plays in the playoffs from other teams. But I think like the injury situation for him, it's like hard for a team to say, yeah, we're going to give you a long-term big deal because you haven't been healthy, consistent. So I think the Lions could luck out, get him for a year or two and kind of just roll with him again. And hopefully he stays healthy. But he's a big asset to this defense, man. I think that's a bigger piece than people realize.
Yeah, I mean, he's a complete like scheme breaker because remember, he's drafted as a corner, so he has coverage ability. He gets moved to safety, but he blitzes and hits like a linebacker. So if there's a injury to the nickel spot, you can put Iffy Melifonwu there. If you need a sub linebacker, you can put Iffy Melifonwu there. If you need somebody to play deep while you can send Brian Branch to the quarterback, you can put Iffy Melifonwu there. There's no way that you can game plan for this guy because he plays all over the field. And it's tough, but I don't think if he comes back, just because I think the defensive-minded head coaches around the NFL, like a John Harbaugh, for example, because you see they're piecing their defense back together, but you see the defensive woes, especially after injuries. Like you see Iffy Melifonwu, and you know what he can do. Like that's somebody where it's like, hey, we'll give you a little bit more money and roll the dice on it. Because I think if you watch Iffy, man, like you said it, Boom, like if he was able to play at the rate that he was at that last stretch of the season, like he was the best safety in the NFL. Like he was ridiculous. Like he looked like Cam Chancellor out there. He's obviously not Cam Chancellor, but the dude's 6'5" and can make plays all over the field. He's athletic. He's got coverage skills. He can tackle, get to the quarterback. Like there's nothing he really can't do. So for him to be staying in Detroit, hopefully it's like, hey, I want to return to Detroit. I want to continue to win. But there's going to be teams that not throwing bags at him. But we know how Brad Holmes operates. He likes saving the money, conserving the money to optimize it in long term. So when it comes to Iffy, it'll be interesting, but I don't think he returns. And I just think that's part of being a Super Bowl contender. Like, you can't keep everybody. You're going to lose good players to other teams, and sometimes it's going to be a pain in the ass because you got to play against them again. But if he's a great player, I just want to appreciate him while he's here because I think that he's definitely going to be he's going to be an impact player going forward.
Felt like you were getting sentimental there for a second. Like, I just want to appreciate him while he's still here, man. I love the guy so much. That was funny.
No.
He might.
I mean, very, very, very fine player.
But it doesn't make sense for Iffy, like from looking at it from his perspective, to stay because he has two guys that are going to play
ahead of him. Yeah,
ahead of him. Like if I'm him and I really want to test, my limit as a player and see what I can be. I'm going to go to a Ravens team or someone that needs a safety.
But hear it out though a little bit. Like the Lions just moved on from, and I know the CJ Gardner-Johnson people didn't really like him in Detroit, but like they moved on from him because they wanted Iffy. Like that was a well-known thing. You had to make a choice, and it was either, hey, sign CJ or, you're going to have to move on from Iffy after the end of this year. And it felt like after the end of last season, that was like the decision being made. Like we're going with Iffy moving forward. So that's where I do get a sense of Brad Holmes, AG, like these guys on the defensive side of the ball, they like Iffy Melifonwu. And like if you kind of made that decision, I know Iffy had the 1 year left, but like they did that because they knew, hey, we're probably going to like, who would you rather resign, CJ or Iffy? And then they said, we would rather have Iffy. Moved on, like with the mindset of, hey, we're going to resign him at the end of next year. And it's not like if he would have played all year and he was getting snaps, guys, like there's that thing where he's like that good to where, like Amik was getting all those snaps at nickel. Like there's going to be times Branch is there and Amik's coming out and Iffy's playing. Like they were going to find a way to get Iffy on the field. We saw it in training camp. And then like if he played all year, he's probably playing well. You're going to have to pay him more. You're not going to have to pay him as much. And like even if other teams offer money, they're not going to offer probably what he would have been offered if he played for 17 games this year. So like you could still probably get him at a bigger discount than you were expecting when you made that decision between CJ and Iffy. Now you're probably going to get him even cheaper than you were expecting. So like I think there's a chance, like a pretty good chance that they're like, yep, we're rolling with Iffy. We'll re-sign him. That's like our third safety. And like we have a rotation and we have back. Like if a guy goes down, if Kirby not going to order Branch, which we've seen both of them miss games for injury, if that happens, you have Iffy Melifonwu, an elite playmaker, still sitting.
But that's if Iffy, of course, is okay with that role. Like
I'm sure he's going to get snaps, even if they don't get hurt, though.
He'll get snaps. The big thing I wonder is like the future. If this is what I'm getting from what the Lions kind of been wanting to do. It's Brian Branch. He played nickel. He was excellent at nickel. We want him to be a safety, like Pierre, just play safety, make plays, fly around. But it's like you're getting to a point. I know there's injuries, but like if we're talking about production, like actual play, he's the best nickel they have still, So it's like, how do you, until someone comes along and just steals that nickel spot and is excellent, then you can put Branch at safety full time. But it's so hard. He's so good. It's like, well, you could put him at safety, but it's like, man, this guy at nickel. And if you have Iffy, he can play safety. But if you're having Brian play safety full time, like there's not really a spot for Iffy unless you think he'll succeed at nickel and thrive. So I don't know. I'm curious what they want to do moving forward. I think it's interesting. I think Iffy this week, another guy is going to make plays. I think this defense, they have to, not that they have to, but they will, because I'm checking the injury report. Isaac Guerrero.
Yep.
Light practice all week. They might be on their fourth string running back, which is
Patrick
Taylor. So they're not going to have a problem stopping the run. I'll say that. But what I want to see this week, it is a good test because the offensive line of the 49ers has not been good against the blitz, which the Lions are going to want to do that. They need to not only get Brock Purdy under duress, but Brock is a mobile quarterback. He can move. He can move in the pocket, especially, but he killed the Lions on some scrambles last year. This is, again, you're looking at these games as like little tests. This is another test for this defensive line. Can you get to Purdy? I know they'll probably try and contain, but can you keep him in the pocket? And what do you look like against a quarterback who can move a little bit? I want to see that more and more. We saw it against Josh. Josh is 1 of 1. We saw it against Caleb a little bit last week. He had some runs, but they've got blown out. I'm curious. I just want to see, and the Bears aren't probably a good measuring stick. I don't even know if the 49ers are, but that's what I'm looking for this week, boys, is that defensive line containing, contain, and we'll see. Maybe you get some sacks off some blitzes here because the 49ers can't seem to stop anything, their offensive line against blitzes. So that's what I'm looking for, that defensive line this week. Another opportunity for those guys. Another opportunity.
Can't hate it. I think it'll be good too because remember last time in the NFC Championship, Iffy and Brian Branch were both getting home. So I think defensive line absolutely, but just kind of what we were saying about Iffy, like this will be a game that will be huge because to your point, mobile quarterback. But these are the exact situations why a guy like Iffy Melifonwu and Brian Branch are perfect because they're so good at getting to the quarterback, but they're in the open field half the time against wide receivers and running backs. So they're good at breaking down and being able to finish the play. So for me, it's kind of just going hand in hand with what we were just talking about. More so specifically Brian Branch and Iffy, but seeing the secondary kind of have to overcompensate for the pass rush because I think like Zadarius Smith can get Brock Purdy to step up in the pocket, but I don't know if Zadarius Smith, because we haven't seen it when not without Ali McNeil consistently, that he can finish the play. I think if you get him to step up, you send Brian Branch, and Iffy like you were in the NFC Championship game, they'll be able to do that. And then that will create Brock Purdy to throw to the other safeties and Kirby Joseph. And I want to see the ball get intercepted. We saw the forced fumbles, but we haven't seen an interception out of the safety deal in a while. And usually when they get one, it kind of rattles off a couple weeks in a row where it's like, okay, now they're getting 2-3 games with interception, whether it's Kirby or Brian Branch, one of them. And I think when you get into you got the Minnesota Vikings next week, but then you got that playoff run, get the best two defensive players on your field in a rhythm. And I think that they'll be able to scheme something up because like we said, there's not a deep threat on the 49ers at this point. Like you got Debo, you got Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall. They don't have a burner. So you can play really aggressive this game, especially man-to-man wise.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I know, Boone, you got your keys to victory here. I'm curious, what you got for this game? It's a massive one.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games. I mean, I feel like I'm just being repetitive when it comes to this, but I just feel like, and hopefully, knock on wood, it doesn't come back to bite me. I just I just think this is one of those games where you're expected to go blow this team out. I'm sorry. Like we saw their injury report. There's about 30 guys on it. It feels like, 3-4 of their top players on their football team are on IR. So it's like, just to me, this should be a game you take care of business. So I think my keys to victories, I'm going to go through them. They're pretty simple ones, and they're pretty like, hey, sometimes I'll get a little fancy. I'll try and do different things. These ones this week is just like, essentially, it's just, hey, take care of business. And honestly, one key, or kind of thing you'll notice, a trend you'll notice in my keys to victories today, it's like, hey, this is stuff that needs to carry over into Minnesota and in the playoffs. Like we're at that point now to where you need to start playing your best football of the season. And like, you need to find, you need to start having good trends. You need to have, you got to start doing things at a higher level. And it starts with games like this. Like I said it last week versus the Bears, and they started to slowly start doing things better, and you could see it a little bit. Now it's like, okay, let's make that 2 games. And then next week, let's make it 3. And then let's get into the playoffs. Now we're playing at a high level on all these different things. So I'll just start off here. The first one here, boys. I think it's get back on track with this turnover battle, boys. I know last week.
By the way, Boone.
Huh?
Like the picture, by the way. Boone.
Yeah, the picture.
I love it's one of my favorite pictures. But I know last week, boys, like they had the 2 turnovers already, and they won the turnover battle with the fumbles. I don't even those are turnovers. I'm more so in what Klotz mentioned a minute ago. When I put this on here and made this, the one thing that I just thought of was just forcing the quarterback to make turnovers. And it's not just interceptions. That's fumble sacks. That is interceptions, but that's making quarterbacks have fear of 1, your defensive line, and 2, your secondary, and them to be going into a game like, oh no, like when you go into week 18, you want Sam Darnold to watch the film versus Brock Purdy and be like, oh, this Detroit Lions defense is like, they play mean and they play tough. And you want him to overthink everything with Kirby, everything with Brian Branch, everything with Iffy, Terrion, Meek, whoever's playing back there. You want him to overthink you want Sam Darnold to be thinking, man, I have to go up against Zadarius Smith. He just dominated Brock Purdy last week. Like, to me, that right there is like, okay, you got 2 turnovers last week and fumbles versus the Bears. Let's go out there. Let's get Kirby back in the interception board. Let's get Brian Branch something. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to see. I want to see, would love to see like a Levi or a DJ Reader strip sack and fumble and recover that. Like, those are things that, to me, it's like, I want to start seeing that from this Lions team again, because last year, Jeff, I don't know if you remember, But last year, when they started going on this run in the playoffs, one thing that they literally were just so passionate about was we need to start creating turnovers.
Yep.
We don't have the defense that everyone else has. How do we withstand this? We need to create turnovers.
Steal possessions.
Yes, and they did it at such a high level down the stretch last year after that Lamar game, and they were giving up all these yards, and people are like, how are they giving up 1 million yards and winning games? Guess what? They were creating turnovers, and they were getting to the quarterback. Those are two things that this Lions team, they've struggled with over the last few weeks. Last week was a little better, but it was a bad snap from Caleb and one punch out. I want interceptions and strip sacks. You have to become mean. And I hope AG, and I'm sure he is because he did it last year, but is just emphasizing, go get the ball, create turnovers. We need interceptions. When was the last interception, guys? I don't remember, being quite frank. Don't remember the last interception. It's been a minute. Do you guys remember? I don't. It had to have been at least 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Trying to think.
It's been a while.
Yeah, because it wasn't the
Maybe
Bears.
Houston.
It wasn't the Bears. It wasn't the Bills. It wasn't the Packers.
It wasn't the Bears before that. I think it might have been Houston. But you have to be able to get create turnovers, and we have to start doing that at a higher level. Second one here, boys. Step up and get momentum heading. Okay, that should have been number 3. That's on me. Because you know what? Let's just do this. That's on me. Let's do this. This was supposed to be number 2. Dominate the pass rush defensively.
Love it.
Listen, I think there's a big, and I apologize for the mishap there. But I just think one of the bigger things here, and I'm going to keep saying it, is if you need to create turnovers, something that I really want to see this week, and Jeff, you talk about it all the time, this pass rush, we question it so much, but we see in the fourth quarter versus Chicago, I know they were dropping back because they were losing the game and they had you have to pass the ball. The defensive line stepped up. Levi O, Josh Paschal, Darius Smith, Mohammed, those guys all stepped up in that fourth quarter. And it's let's see some carryover and let's just get after Brock Purdy. Jeff, you were just talking about it, that they're the worst against pressure when they get blitzed in the NFL. They're one of the worst teams against the blitz pressure on the quarterback.
Shout out easy.
And shout out easy with that. And the Lions, shout out easy again. They're second in the NFL at blitzing. So it's hey, this is a week you go out there and you go sack the quarterback. Since you lost Aiden Hutchinson, fun fact and fun stat for you guys, you're averaging less than 2 sacks per game. You might be at 1.6 or less than 2 sacks. Before Aiden Hutchinson, I know you had Hutch, over 3 sacks per game. A cut in half, if not more. That's bad. And I know that's a star edge rusher, but man, at least keep it above 2.5, but to cut it in half, if not more, that's brutal. So going to the playoffs, dominate the pass rush on Monday night, guys. I think let's do this. You guys want to set a goal? Maybe we can put a little during our live stream, we could throw up a little counter. Let's get 5 sacks on Monday night. Let's get to Brock Purdy 5 times. Let's do it.
You know what?
Prime time. Let's go get 5 sacks. And I don't care if it affects it. I don't care. I just want to see these guys get to the quarterback and finish and make plays. That's it. And then the last one, you guys said it's there at 2. And I already talked about it at the beginning. That was on me a little bit. You have to get momentum going into next week. Again, I don't care if you win by 40 or by 10. I just think there's these little things in the NFL when you get momentum in the turnover battle and you get momentum and get to a quarterback and offensively, you're back week to week, you're putting up 30 points. It's hard to stop that momentum in the NFL. And if you can keep it going, and especially a week like this, I think about that offensively, if you can go put another 35, 40 piece up on an NFL team, this offense next week going into that Minnesota game, that defense won't be able to stop the Lions. As good as they've been, that momentum's too hard to stop if you're playing at a high level offensively. So I think that's a big thing to look at is hey, heading into week 18, especially if the Vikings end up winning, you have to build off and get some momentum heading into next week offensively, turnover-wise, defensively, getting to the quarterback, all of that. So those are my 3 things on Monday. I know, I'm one of my boys, shout out one of my boys from Australia. He said, nothing sexy but the grind. He used to say it all the time. He brought it over from Australia. We would be in the gym at 5 a.m. and he would walk in, big smile on his face and say, hey, nothing sexy but the grind, boys. And walk in. And that's how I look at a game like this, man. I know it's simple. It's annoying. Turnovers, pass. It's one of those games. You're at that point in the season. There's nothing special to talk about, nothing special to do. You go out and win the football game and winning like these little things, you're gonna be fine. Nothing sexy but the grind on Monday night, boys.
Now, I will say when you talk about step up and gain momentum heading into next week, it's not, you talk about the offense, and you would agree that defense, man, because you're right. The Vikings aren't going to be able to stop this this offense, but you got to be able to stop that offense. At least not stop, but give them some problems. At times, get situational stops, turnovers, stuff like that. So I'm with you. This is a good game to get some confidence. We said this last week, but and they did. But it's the Bears. Now you're a week removed. Let's keep it up, gain some confidence defensively, and then take it into next week and open up a can of whoop ass.
I look at it just building off last week, man.
That's it.
It's just building and building. I think it was like that. What was it? An 11-game win streak they went on. Like every week, they just even with the injuries, they just built and built and built and built, and they just kept getting better and better.
I want to see Levi's success carry over. I want to see Levi.
I love that.
Like
Josh Paschal, Ben Neiman
had a big game in the NFC Championship. Not big game. He had one of his better games of last season in the NFC Championship game. So if he can create some pressure, because he's been playing good ball. He hasn't maybe compiled a lot of sacks, but he's been putting pressure on there. He had the fumble recovery last week. I think he's been in a good spot, and I think he can put together a big performance. And that's like we used to bring up about the pass rush. Obviously, Darius Smith is there, but Josh Paschal, I think he's got to start becoming not a key factor in getting the quarterback, but he's got to show a little bit more flash in getting to the quarterback and finishing the play. But he's been doing a good job so far.
Well, it's time. Good job, Booner. Great job. He's a victory every single Friday.
I just want to throw out this shout out to Chris Foster in the chat, just a Bears fan. I you know what, and I'll just be completely honest with the people and with Chris and with everyone who's if they're going back and forth, we all understand where Chris is coming from. We have all as Lions fans. He brought up good points. Like we're known for 0-16. Barry quit it. We know that. Like these are all facts. The crazy part about all those facts that he stated, the Bears are now the Detroit Lions of the NFL. So Chris, we understand you. We're here for you. If you need anything from us, you could talk to us in the chat. You don't need to, outburst. Like, dude, we know you are now us. We're past that. Thankfully, we've gone past those curses. Chicago is now the Detroit Lions of the NFL of the past. So, like, congratulations on that. Maybe we can send you a trophy to have that, but it's good for us to finally get past that, man. We're no longer that.
It's tough when you can tell an organization, like a fan base, is a little rattled when they start bringing up past championships. The Cowboys did it for so long. It's just
you gotta.
The Cowboys haven't been good since like the 90s.
But that's like the
Bears last championship. You can live on it. That was 86. Who cares?
I
mean, who cares?
Man, William
you cannot
Perry.
Use those arguments anymore. Those arguments are so.
But that's coming from a place of hurt. Cowboys fans have done it. So it's just
like Chris. He said only little kids say, "What have you done for me lately?" Listen, you obviously want your team to be good now, so you would be saying the same thing. Like, so you don't care what's happening in Chicago right now?
No,
you're fine with that.
It matters what's happening.
You're fine with that. The 9 titles. I bet, Chris, you were alive for one of them. I bet you weren't even alive for over 8 of them.
Yeah, it's when you start bringing up past championships, it's tough.
When were all their championships? I would love to know.
It's probably literally when they were championships and not Super Bowl, like the Lions.
Oh,
I think the Bears.
So they have one Super Bowl. They have one. The Lions might have more. How many do the Lions have? They won a bunch.
Got a couple of championships under their belt.
They have a handful of them. Let me look it up. Because all right, you want to what are we doing here?
I mean,
Lions have 4 of them.
Chris is saying the title in 1920 is the same as 2020.
Okay, so we have 4 of them. So don't say no championships for the Lions then. Now you're wrong. He's saying you guys have no chance. We have 4 of them.
He said 9-4.
Okay,
we're not talking about
what a
Bobby
loser,
Lane,
dude.
Night Train Lane.
What a
we're not
loser,
talking
Chris.
about those.
Yeah.
If you want to, that's fine.
But you guys know how it is.
As
a Lions fan, you can't sit there and say we won NFL championships. That's just not.
Should be embarrassed saying 9, to be honest.
Or a Super Bowl, great Super Bowl. But we're talking about
Mike
40 years. 40. Like that's
it's just past that point. And I know some Bears fans too. have had conversations with some, and they like, yes, they're in the same spot to where it's like, who cares? Like, who really cares? Like, you know what I mean? You're past that point.
Well, hey, let's get to
What?
Once you get 10 titles, you can talk. What's crazy is the Bears.
I think it's true. I respect it kind of now.
They have yet to have a quarterback throw for 30 touchdowns. In that whole span, they have Jay Cutler is the best quarterback in franchise history.
Are we really though?
Man,
are we really going to be like, we have an appearance? Who cares about appearances? I don't like if the Lions get an appearance. I'm not going to be like, yes, we got it. Dude, I want a Super Bowl. Like, if you're worried, like, we have an appearance and you don't, like, dude, what? I mean, geez, you guys are really going through it, man. I feel for the Bears fans, man. Shout out Big Cat. I feel for him, man. All I do now is troll him for the slip and slide after he had the little jab at me about the slip and slides, and I was just like, oh, I want Ben Johnson. Oh, I'm sure he'll bring some slip and slides for you guys.
Yeah, he ain't. I don't know. They're banking on Ben Johnson, and we'll see what happens with that. That might be either will be bad or it'll be hilarious. But let's get to our over-unders for the game because it is that time.
Oh, we've got some money donated. I'm sorry.
Shout out, Adam. Since 2010, the Bears have one winning season. I mean, the Lions have more than that at least. Trying to think, that was probably with Nagy and Trubisky.
Oh yeah, they were 12
that one
year
when it was supposed to be the double doink,
or 12-4, 12-4, or was it 11-5? They're one of them.
Nah, who cares?
But yeah, you're right. It was Nagy. It was Nagy. All right, let's get to it, fellas. I got players here. I'm going to say the player. I'm going to say the line. You give me over under. Very simple. You ready?
Yep.
Let's roll.
All right, first player. We're starting the Detroit Lions side. Jared Goff. Passing yards right now, most sports books, it's sitting at 250.5.
Oh my gosh.
250.5.
The easiest bet of the week. Give me the over. Take 300. Alternate line, probably like plus 200. Give 300 this week versus the 49ers.
Yeah.
Give me 300.
Jared Goff over better be in the lay of the day. I'm going over without a doubt.
All right. I will agree with that. I think he gets like 260, 270. He's going to hit that over, I believe. All right. Next game, or excuse me, next player. So I'm thinking of pick 'em. Next player, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 72.5.
You know what? This one, I feel like I'm going to take all the overs because I feel like they're going to all have big games. I'm going to go over as well. I think Amon-Ra in Cali. I know, LA and all that, but you're still in California. I think him back home, west side, the West Coast, I would say. I think he goes over. I think he gets about 75, and it's 72.5. I think he'll get 75 to 80, so I'll take the over.
I'm going to go under on this one. I'll probably go over on the receptions if there was a line, but I just think Amon-Ra, he hasn't put too many back-to-back, monster yardage games up. And like I said, when you look at the strength of this Niners defense in the middle of the field, I think he's going to have a lot of catches, but I don't think he gets over. He can get in the end zone. I still think he has a good game, but I don't think it's a huge Amon-Ra game following last week.
Yeah, I'm in a tough position. I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go under. Just by slightly. Yeah, I'm gonna go under here. But yeah, I'm with you though, Klotz. I'd lean the catches, but whatever. Jamison Williams, 51.5. 51.5 for JMO.
Boondog.
I'm sorry, I was so distracted. I apologize. What was it? I'm so sorry.
51.5.
51.5.
Oh, over. Man's getting 100 this week, Klotzy. Give me the over.
Yeah,
that was Jeff. Jeff that did JMO. Give me the over.
Yeah, I'm going over with JMO. I don't think Amon-Ra gets his yards, but I think JMO does. He's been having multiple weeks with 3+ catches, and with that, he has big playability, and he's been rolling. So give me JMO on the over.
Yeah, this one's easy. Over. I think he has a massive game. I think he has 80, 90 yards in this game. I could see 5 catches. I just think JMO's been playing very well, and he's only about 110 away from 1,000. He's going to just chip away at it, and he's going to get a nice chunk this week. So I'm going to go over on that as well. All right, Sam Laporta, 45.5. His line is higher than it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, this is where I hate to do it. I've done it. I've said over on all of them, but we had the conversation about what this game looks like for the offense, and I think they'd score 40 plus this week. And I think offensively, again, Jared throws for over 300. And then when you kind of look at it, you're like, oh yeah, who does those 300 go to? I think it's like 70 and 70 or 80 and 70. Jamo, Amon-Ra. I think Sam Laporta gets 50 out of there. So if I think 50, I would have to go over on this. I don't think he goes off like 70, 80 yards, but I think he gets in the 50s. And if his line's 40 something, then I'll take that. I hate going overs on all of these. I just think this turns into, as disrespectful as it sounds, like the Panthers or like a Titans type game. I know that's disrespectful. That's how I'm treating this game.
I mean, I can't fault you, Boone. Like, this offense is going to need to put up points. They need to keep that momentum going. I think Amon-Ra goes under, but Jamo and Laporta will go over their yards. I think another big game from Laporta. I know he's got Fred Warner on him, but there's only so many times you can keep Sam Laporta from making a play. They're going to target him enough times for him to get 45, whatever the line was. He's going to go over.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm going to go over on Sam Laporta. I think it's just the way he's been playing. He's been playing really well, and I think he'll cause some problems this week. All right, next player, Jahmyr Gibbs, 129.5 all purpose. Will he get 130?
Yes, he'll get 150 all purpose this week. Give me the over again. Again, I hate taking all these overs.
I think we might have the greatest performance offensively on low.
I had to do it. I'm sorry. Give me the over. I'm sorry. Give me the over.
So, Boone, you think it'll be, and I'm not saying this, I'm just genuinely asking. You think there'll be probably about 500 yards of offense?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we've seen it multiple times this year. We've seen it multiple times. Have we not? Am I crazy? We've seen it. This is the best offense in the NFL. They average 420 yards a week, and like some weeks they're going over 500. I don't think it's that crazy.
Yeah, I mean, 500
really
yards
don't.
isn't crazy to say, but I think it's even more sane to say that Jahmyr Gibbs is going over. There's not a week where I'm going to look at a yardage line and be like, yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs cannot get that, especially this week. Big game from Jahmyr, 30-plus touches, 150 yards. Not even 150, 130 yards. He'll clear that. Under.
I'm going to go under.
Yep.
I'm going to go under. I think he gets like 120, 115, 120 all purpose. That's what I think. So I think by that metric, he hits the under. All right. We have 3 players left. I'm going to go some offense on the 49ers, kind of gauge the what we thinking. George Kittle, 71.5, over under.
This is one of these things I know, like I love our linebacking crew. I just think George Kittle eats no matter what. And especially this offense. No, you've lost Brandon Ayuk, and I think George Kittle's been a big piece. I think it's hard to stop him. They're going to try. I would take the over on George Kittle.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at it right now, but George Kittle, he had a huge game last week against the Dolphins. He had 90-plus yards, and with just, like you said, in the linebacking room, like, you like some of the guys there, but George Kittle's a future first ballot Hall of Famer, most likely the tight end spot. There's not too many of them up there. I mean, they're not going to be, you can maybe limit him from time to time, but you're not stopping George Kittle. So George is going to have a nice game, 71 yards. It's steep for a tight end, but it's something that he's very capable of, especially in prime time. It seems like George Kittle always has big games in prime time.
Yeah, he's going to eat. There's not much to add. Over. All right. Brock Purdy, 254.5. His line is at 254.5 passing.
I'm trying to think. What did Caleb have last week?
I mean, he didn't have.
He had 334.
Oh, he did. Holy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably go over. I just like the secondary. I mean, they're going to be losing. They're going to be down, 2-3 possessions throughout the whole game. So I think you're going to get to a point to where they don't have any running backs. Like their offense is just strictly passing essentially right now. So I would go over. I feel like that's going to easily hit. I'll probably have in the Booners lay of the day. I typically take one of the other player on the other team. I'll probably do like alternate line, like 225 from like Brock Purdy, just based off of that.
I mean, boys, I would not be surprised if the Detroit Lions do not hold a quarterback under 250 yards the rest of the season. You got Brock Purdy threw 300-plus yards last week. I think he's very capable, especially at home, throwing for, what was the line, Jeff?
254.5.
254.5. Yeah, at home, I think you'd easily do that. Then you got Sam Darnold. Then you got the playoffs coming up. So 254, I think you could look at a realistic. outlook that the Detroit Lions will not hold an opponent's pass or under that the whole rest of the season to go. So give me the over.
I'm gonna go over as well. So I'm gonna go over as well on Brock Purdy. I'm with you guys. I think he has a big. I think he has a big day. All right, next player we have Deebo Samuel, 47.5. That's the last guy. Deebo Samuel, 47.5.
No Juwan, huh?
No Juwan.
I've taken every over. I'm gonna take the over.
All right.
I just think.
I'm going to take the under. I don't think he does. I think Juwan's going to be the guy that really kills this team. I think when you look at it, Juwan, Kittle, those are the best receivers. I think Deebo, he's a guy that normally responds to physical defenses, but he's going to get smacked around a little bit. And I just don't think he's been playing like Deebo this year. Deebo's still a good player, but he's not the Deebo Samuel he once was. And I know 47 might sound egregious, but I think that Aaron Glenn just finds a way, especially with Brian Branch and Iffy both going to be on the field. They find a way to limit Deebo. So let Juwan, let Kittle kill you, but don't let Deebo, Juwan, and Deebo all kill you. So I don't think Deebo goes over this week. Quiet.
Yeah, give me the under. I actually think Juwan goes over. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I think his line was at like similar. Honestly, it might be a little lower, but yeah, I think Juwan has a day. He's a big dude. He's like, what is he, like 6'3"? He's hard to guard. So yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, boys, that's the over under. Booner, a lot of offense.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun game.
Thanks, Booner. Back to you.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
No, sorry, I was trying to figure out what was going on in the chat here.
Yeah, no, I banned Chris. I mean, I don't.
Why would we ban Chris?
Because he sent like 8 messages in a row earlier. Like we have to. There comes a point I don't mind dialogue, but once you're spamming and just saying the same shit, you got to go. And the mods know. People can come and chop it up. They have no issue with it at all. But like that dude had every intention just to spam like that.
Hey.
That.
Come on now, Jeff.
No, like Damon's in the chat. Bears fan, shout out to him. No one ever should ban him. No, I like all fans in here, but that was a little ridiculous. I'm sorry. I was on the chat side there. That dude, fucking Chris Foster. Yeah, he was cool at first. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, Bears fan. No, he's just
The Bears thing is kind of funny to me that Bears fans just talk.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I like the banter, but like once you start, doing what he's doing, whatever. All right, we'll end it there. We'll get into Pick'em, which I'm excited for because we got a nice little slate this week. Okay, and I'll give you the records. I looked at them earlier. Klotzy.
I don't think I had a good week last week.
Klotzy, what do you think? What do you think
I'm probably last still.
What do you? What? Oh, hold on. Let me get the record. Let me get the record. Who did it? We did. Well,
that was not me. I hands up. That was not me. I swear, Jeff.
It wasn't me. It wasn't Klotz.
That wasn't me. I mean, we have a ghost in this place now.
What happened?
I
don't know.
Well, okay. We'll get him in here, then we'll look at the records. We have a man joining
not Boone this time,
who clawed back from the bottom, the cockroach, as some would say. Mr. Caleb Zarnick. Caleb!
Feels good. Had a good week. Hey, Chris Foster, shut up, man. I mean, what the fuck are you talking about over here in the chat? This guy's unbelievable in there. You guys seeing this?
Yeah.
The Bears fan? Unbelievable.
Okay. I don't mind conversations, but this dude now he's just spamming Detroit. So we're just gonna.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Good week.
Welcome back,
Chris. Good week. Good week for me last week. Oh,
yeah. Come on, let the man talk. Freedom of speech.
Oh, this is Bone.
No, I'm all for freedom of speech, but once you start spamming 4 of the same messages in a row, like you got to go. Yeah, you can't do that. But yeah, let me show the record. So I'll get you guys updated here. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know if he keeps joining, we'll just figure it out. But anyway, all right. Here's the updated records for Pick'em. Okay, it was a battle. It was an absolute battle. But here's where we stand. Booner.
What the fuck? What the fuck? I went 8-2.
Yeah, what did Jeff? What's
on.
happening here, Jeff?
Did Klotz go undefeated?
No.
Jeff needs to get his. You need to get it together.
No,
Jeff.
I made a mistake.
Take this down. Take this down. Take this down.
No, the records are right, but the name should be swapped.
Oh,
Lucas and
Caleb, I would be fuming right
Well,
now.
I was so excited to see my name in that number 4. No disrespect, Klotz.
Caleb, I take accountability. The records are right. You and Lucas should be swapped. That is on me. So Caleb has a record of 44-46. Lucas is 45-52.
I mean, Caleb, if I was you, I would be furious. I would be fuming.
No, shut up.
I kind of am.
It's back-to-back weeks. As last week, I think it was flipped around too. Okay, maybe not.
No.
I can't. Caleb, you're in 5th place to me right now. Until that graphic is the final decision, you're in 5th place still. You still.
I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm winning games.
This is coming from the guy who called you a cockroach. Okay, this is.
I've talked to Caleb about picking him a lot. I want Caleb to pass you up, Jeff.
Now that I've had a good week, I respect Boone for saying that. I get what he's saying now. I was being a little sour puss because I was losing a lot of games. But now I understand. I
want Caleb to pass Jeff up. Like I want Caleb to be up at the top 3 competing. That's what I want. And him sitting.
Why can't it be me, you, and Caleb, and not Unc? Why is it me?
Listen. You're in 3rd right now. I want him to get up in 3rd. If I was in 3rd, I would say, hey, Caleb, fight to get in 3rd. Try and pass me up. That's all it is. Top 3, man. You want a medal? I mean, he's in 5th right now. I mean, I hate to say it. Like I hate to see
he's in
4th.
No,
he's in
5th.
5th.
We're not letting Klotz off the hook here. He's in 5th. Okay, Klotz is in the last place. Klotz had a tough week, and on the graphic it did show
6-5. It wasn't.
Yeah,
that
no,
tough,
I was going
right,
to say
pal?
I think Klotz had a good week.
I was 6-5. All right, let's chill out. Please, you went 5-6, pal.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Come on,
I did. I actually
rough
did.
week, Jeff.
I was under 500, but I'm still hanging on. I'm still above 500. We're still battling, and we got a nice little slate. So
this guy, that's so funny to me.
I'm still in 4th as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, come on.
Traffic doesn't lie.
It's a little delusional, but we'll accept it. A little delusional. Hey,
gotta be delusional sometimes. Confidence is key. I'll stay quiet. 2 weeks. We're rolling it through the playoffs too, right?
Yeah, we are. Yep.
Oh, all right. We still got a lot of time left.
Yes, football
Hefe's gonna fall. Hefe's gonna fall. It's not even a bold prediction, but look at that little.
Why is it me?
Look at that smug look.
Why can't we say Mike? Why can't Mike fall? I'm
not gonna go at a fellow co-host when he's not here. Now you're here and you're in 3rd. Mike's in 2nd. You're the one that's gonna fall. Okay. 5-6 last week. 6-5. Caleb 8-3. One of us was not above 500 in picks last week, and that's you. On the decline, you go. On the rise, me and Caleb will go. We'll be fighting it out for that 3rd, maybe 2nd spot. I think Boone's pretty locked at the 1 seed right now.
I don't know. I'm literally like 2% off of Mike. We're battling.
There's life. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Life.
And Boone's over here rooting for the guy, rooting for Mike. He wants your boy to say, let's root against. Hey, Mike, let's get this man out of top 2. All right, let's have Mike get a rough week. And by the way, the games this week, a little weird. I was looking at them, a little weird. So let's get to it. First game, of course you do. First game on the slate for the fellas. We're going to start. It's the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the New England Patriots. The Chargers are 4.5-point favorites. It's in New England.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys this real quick. I'll just be quite frank with you guys. Just give me the Chargers. Chargers need to get a bounce back. Patriots just had a good, tough game versus the Bills. Not doing it again back-to-back weeks. Give me the Chargers -4. I'll tell you what, too, and I'll just give you guys a little sneak peek ahead of how my picks are going to look. Week 17 and Week 18, especially Week 17. Week 18, potential of players getting rested. Week 17, you're looking at teams that are out of the playoffs, probably not going to play that great, and playoff teams making that final push on Week 17, like, hey, this is our last hurrah before guys get rested next week. So I will say this, I'm going to probably take a lot of favorites because teams are playing for playoff spots, or playing for seeds, and other teams are giving up because they're out of the playoffs. So give me the favorite in this one.
Yeah, I'm not going to differ from that. I like the Chargers in this game. I know that, by the way, the Patriots got me last week because I picked the Bills to cover, Patriots did. It was cute, but I'm going to go Chargers. I think they cover this week.
Caleb, how are we?
I'm ahead of Klotz.
Am I fourth or are you fourth? What are we doing here?
I mean, but the standing said Klotz is ahead of me.
Then
Okay, whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
Give me the Chargers.
Give me the Chargers as well, and I'll go before Klotz this time. I'm just messing around. I'll take the Chargers as well.
It's hard not to know you're messing around when you're wearing what you're wearing. I mean, look at this guy. I mean, I got the hint. I mean, look, this dude's dripped out right now. This guy is
feeling good.
This guy is dripped out. All right, next game we got this is actually a good one. Broncos at Bengals. Bengals -3.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of those situations like the Broncos are a decent team. I just don't think like as we're starting to get a little longer here, you do see they're probably not like the best playoff team. And the Bengals, I don't know if you guys know this. I, had a conversation, I think it was my cousin or someone this week. Bengals are still alive for the playoffs. Like they have the next 2 weeks, they have some things that need to fall their way. But one of the things is the Broncos, I think, to lose out. And they play the Broncos in this game. So they need to beat the Broncos to stay alive for week 18. And in those situations, Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase, T. Higgins, that team, give me the Bengals -3. Like I feel like this should be a bigger spread. I know it's because it's the Broncos who have won a lot of games. But the 3, I'm taking the 3 all day long. I think the Bengals win this game by a touchdown.
Yeah, this was a tough one for me because I like what the Broncos have been doing. It's just when you're facing a high-powered offense like this, I just have doubt in my mind. Although I think defensively they're very good. That like Bo Nix, I get it's against this Bengals defense, and I'm probably going to look stupid, but I like the Bengals to cover in this game too. I do with the stakes they have currently, they're going to be locked in. So give me the Bengals. I'm not in love with that one.
Yeah. If I can get like double points and take Broncos money line, I would because I love the Broncos in this spot. I think they're for real. I think Sean Payton is going to shred this Bengals defense. I think Bo Nix is for real. Give me the Broncos +3 or +3.5, whatever it is. I love it on the road. Doesn't matter. I know the Bengals do have to win to stay in playoff contention, but I think the Broncos are going to be too much for them.
For real. The Broncos are for real. The Broncos are cute. I think the Broncos are building something special, but they're still a year or two away from being for real. Like if for real is like, okay, you're in the playoffs, you're gonna make some noise. They're like a fellow divisional opponent in there with the Chargers. I view them as the same tier. But this defense let up 400 plus yards against Jameis Winston. I know that's what Jameis Winston does, but Joe Burrow's been. I know Lamar's the MVP, but like Joe Burrow quietly has been the best quarterback in the NFL this year. I do not care what anybody has to say about it. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, you take any one of them. They've been balling out, and I don't think they're going to be able to stop Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins. Chase Brown's been rolling, so I think the Bengals are playing better football right now, and the Broncos, they're not for real, but they're a good team, but I'm going to take the Bengals at home on this one.
I think they're good enough to win a playoff game, the Broncos. I do. I think if they make it, I think when that defense is at their best, they're going to win some.
Their defense will keep them
this year, though.
This year, yeah, because I think Bo Nix has everything he needs. I think Bo Nix has everything he needs. He has a good coach. They need to get that run game figured out. They need this offseason. They need to go get.
I think he has everything he needs. He has a good coach.
Well, they have a couple good running backs. He's found his number one receiver, Cortland Sutton.
Who's their tight end?
Stop.
Who's their wide receiver too?
Hey, Vela.
Yeah.
Next
pick. Next
more
pick.
yards last week.
All right. Next game: Cardinals at Rams. Rams -6.5.
Am I up?
Yep.
All right, Cardinals, Rams. All right, here we go, boys. How about this game, huh, fellas? Cardinals are out of the playoffs, too, so I just don't think they're going to bring as much. They've lost, I don't know, I'm just looking at their last 5 games. They've only won 1 in their last 5, and they might even go farther than that. And then the Rams have won 4 straight games by 10, by 6, by 2, and by 7. So I think the Rams continue this thing. They're still competing to win this division, and I don't know if they can finish it off this week. I feel like they can. If the Seahawks lose and Rams win, I think they win the division. I could be wrong. They win this by a touchdown here versus this Cardinals team who their season's already over.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals are injury riddled right now. It's why this line looks like this. I'm going to go with the Rams in this type of situation here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams as well. Cardinals out of playoff contention. Rams need to keep winning. I'm going to take the Rams by a touchdown.
Give me the Cards. Look, the Cards, they play divisional opponents very hard. They blew this Rams team out 41-10 at the beginning of the year. Obviously, not the same teams, but Jonathan Gannon, I don't think he has a locker room that's just going to give up and be like, hey, we're not winning. I think when you look at that locker room, they're still going to put up a fight. Marvin Harrison has something to prove. Trey McBride wants to fall in the end zone. Defensively, they don't have players everywhere, but they play fucking hard. We saw it when the Detroit Lions went up against them. I don't think the Cardinals win, but I think they cover the 6.5, and they'll be able to find a way to not get their teeth kicked in this week.
All right, next game, Jets at Bills. Bills minus 9.5.
Oh, you know what I'm rolling with this one, boys. Last week I faded the Bills plus 14.5 with the Patriots, and that was one of the easiest bets of the week coming off the Lions game for the Bills. This is a bounce back week for the Bills, boys. They can rest players. No, let them go out there, get a good game in. They don't get they don't have the 1 seed, so they're not going to get a first round bye. This is going to be the final game of the season, regular season, for Josh Allen and some of these guys. They're going to go out there, get momentum, have a big 20-point, 21-point win by 2 or 3 touchdowns, and then they're going to rest week 18. That's going to be their bye week before they hit the playoffs. So give me the Bills minus 10.5 or minus whatever it is. I'll take the Bills.
Muted, Hefe. Come on now.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Wait, by the way, I'm sorry, Jeff. Everyone took the Rams. I just want to make sure.
The Cardinals, Boone.
Are you the only one that was different?
Yep.
Okay, I apologize. I really am sorry, boys.
This one to me is, I contemplated taking the Jets. I just can't convince myself to even take the Jets. I think I've lost every time this year in the pick'em when I take the Jets. So by that metric, just give me the Bills. Even though they screwed me last week. Apparently, Joe Brady wants to save plays. Dumb. But give me the Bills.
Yeah, give me the Bills as well. I think they beat the piss out of the Jets. After the Bills just played a tight game with the Patriots, they're going to want a statement win, like Boone said. Give me the Bills minus 9.5. That's a huge spread, but I love it. Bills at home. I like it.
I think it's
Bills
supposed
minus
to snow.
9.5.
I think it's supposed
Clean
to snow.
sweep. Bills, all 4 of us Bills. Don't got to waste time.
All right, next game. Raiders minus 1 at Saints. Disgusting.
Oh my God.
I mean, this game's terrible.
This could be the worst game in the NFL season. Is that a crazy thing to say? There's been some bad ones, but this one.
No, we saw 6-3 on Thursday night between Caleb Williams and Geno Smith was the worst.
Brutal.
Game of the
Dude,
year.
I
bet
took
that
2
would be
touchdown
more than
scores.
9 total points.
The only bets I have on that game is touchdown scores, and they don't even get 1 touchdown in the whole game. It was just like that's my luck. Give me the Saints. Give me the Saints. I'll take the Saints. I think the Saints win. They're at home. In these games, it's like, who do you take? No clue. Raiders won last week, so they're just due for a loss. Like, they can't win back. There's no way a Raider, like one of these teams, wins back-to-back weeks. That's just pure logic to me, I think. Like, that's just how I look at it. Like, if you're a bottom 5 team in the NFL, if you get a win, the next week you're like automatic loss because like you can't pull a back-to-back away. So give me the Saints. Good theory there.
Yeah, I don't really know. This one's actually disgusting.
Why did we put this on the slate?
Now I'm thinking that. Like,
give me the Raiders.
The Raiders? I like it.
Yeah.
Give me the Raiders minus 1 as well. No Derek Carr, no Alvin Kamara. And some Shift got said in the chat, like the Raiders just keep ruining their draft. Like they had like the number 1 pick at one point, and they've won they won last week, and they had a chance at Shadur Sanders or whoever they wanted, and now they have like the 5th pick, and they're going to keep winning this week. So give me the Raiders.
Yeah, as crazy as it sounds, this might be the lock of the week. Give me the Saints. I mean, you going back the last 6 weeks, they beat the Falcons, they beat the Browns, they lost by 7 to the Rams, so they probably didn't cover then. But then they beat the Giants, lost to the Commanders by 1, and just got their teeth kicked into the Packers. But I think you expect that to happen. Obviously, Packers, Raiders, talent drop-off there. Give me the Saints to win this game outright.
All right, yeah, real quick, by the way, Damian Smith, appreciate the $2, says Jenna Lane, ESPN, Shaq Barrett re-signing with the Bucs. So,
yeah, it was either Bucs or Broncos.
Yep, he's back with the Bucs. All right, all right, next game, Colts minus 7.5 at Giants.
I mean, the Giants have just keep losing games, and they keep losing games by a lot. The Colts are just out. They have like a team that like you don't want to go up against. Like they're not a playoff team, but like Klotz, to your point, I'm not going to give you any credit actually at all because they didn't even make the playoffs and they won't.
Yeah.
Like your take on that is dead. But the only credit I would give you if I was going to give you credit was the Colts. Like they have a good roster and they play hard every week consistently. So I'll take the Colts in this spot. I just think it's the right move.
Yeah, I'm not going to overthink this one. Yeah, Colts.
Yeah, when I give this pick, don't ask me why. Give me Giants plus 7.5. Don't ask. I don't know. It's gross. This team sucks. But I don't know. 7.5 at home feels good. Give me the Giants. Feels disgusting to say.
Banged up. Yeah, that's disgusting, Caleb. If there was a play to make, it was the last selection with the Saints and the Raiders. It's not here. Give me the Colts. Whenever I pick them, they lose. Whenever I go against them, they win. But I think the Colts and Klotzy, they can align this week for once this year, and they're gonna cover. Big day from Anthony Richardson. Hopefully on the ground, not through the air.
All right. Next game. We have the Panthers at Bucs. Bucs minus 8.5. So weird.
Yeah, this is an easy one for me. I'm just going to be honest with you. This team has covered in, I'm looking at it right now, 6 of their last 7 games they've covered. That like they just know how to cover and stay in games. They're playing hard-fought games. Give me the Panthers plus 8.5. I do like this Bucs team, and I they're trying to win this division, and I hope they do. But this Panthers team, man, they've been fighting with teams. Like they're staying within a touchdown every game. They're finding a way and they're getting it done. They're not winning. In those games, they've only won 3 of them. In those, whatever it is, 7 or 8 games, they've only won 3, but they're covering and they look good and they look like they're putting up a fight. So give me the Panthers plus 8.5.
I mean, I'll go, Jeff. I love this pick. I can go. I'm gonna take the Bucs minus 8.5 here. I just think the NFL and everybody is waiting for Bryce Young and the Panthers to like string together like 2 wins in a row to kind of show like, oh, there's some hope for next year and we have some talent on this team. They do, but I mean, Bucs coming off a loss at home. Give me the Bucs minus 8.5.
Yeah, give me the Bucs. Give me the Bucs. I think the Panthers are going to have no one can run on the Bucs. It's hard enough. And Chuba Hubbard, he's excellent. But I think they're going to struggle running the ball. And I think the Bucs are going to get some get back this week. They're going to win by 10. So
you both just took the Bucs?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeez, man, what's going on here?
Hey, Boone, me and you are aligning. Give me the Panthers here. They lost by 3 points to this Bucs team. Now, obviously, it was in Carolina. That's in Tampa. But I just think this Panthers team, divisional game for one, but the second anybody counts them out, they're right there with them, like the Chiefs game, the Broncos game, not the Broncos, the Buccaneers game. And then who's the other one that was like, oh, the Eagles game where they were only lost by 6. I think 8.5 is a big spread. I definitely think the Buccaneers win, but I think the Panthers definitely cover. So give me the Panthers.
All right, Cowboys at Eagles. Eagles minus 7.
I put some notes for this game. No, I didn't. Because they have a backup quarterback playing. Kenny Pickett's playing. No Jalen Hurts. To be honest, I was going to pick the Cowboys. I wrote the Cowboys down first. But you know what I realized with the Cowboys? CeeDee Lamb is out for the rest of the year. And I was going to get the Cowboys because they keep games within a touchdown. The problem with that is no CeeDee Lamb. So I'm going to go the Eagles, even with Kenny Pickett. I just think this Eagles team defensively is going to dominate the Cowboys, and like they're going to win by probably 10 in this game. So I'll take the Eagles.
Yeah. It's tough to make a case right now for the Cowboys. But it's minus 7. That's it's such a weird number too. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I think I don't see a path. I just don't. Unless Kenny Pickett craps the bed.
I'm gonna go with the Cowboys here, plus 7. I mean, I know they lose CeeDee Lamb for the rest of the year, but I think I texted you guys during this Bucs game. I said this Cowboys team is kind of fucking awesome. Like they fly around on defense. They're on the 2-game win streak. They still have decent weapons on offense. Tolbert, Dowdle's been playing well. Ferguson, what? I mean,
you're going to say those are decent. Jalen Tolbert. Jake Ferguson, who has yet to
Brandon
score a
Cooks?
touchdown all year. Jake Ferguson,
Brandon
And
Cooks.
Rico
I mean,
Dowdle-
dude,
Rico
Rico
Dowdle
Dowdle's
has
been
one
good.
rushing touchdown on the year.
Dude, he had like 100 rushing yards in three
Man,
straight games.
you guys are
He's played
arguing
well.
to take the same pick.
He's played well. He's played well. And I think the Cowboys on a 2-game win streak. Eagles, no Jalen Hurts. Give me the Cowboys. +7. Love it.
Give me the Eagles. Enough said. Move on.
Oh, I thought you were going to take the Cowboys. Klotz.
No, why would I take the Cowboys? Why?
I don't know.
Yeah,
the
Did you
way
watch
were-
that game? Did you watch that game against the Bucs last week?
The way
That
I
defense
thought you made a
flies
noise.
around.
How many yards did CeeDee Lamb have in that game?
Dude, I think they can win with the defense against Kenny Pickett.
Come on now, stop it.
That defense played really well against the Bucs.
If Philadelphia scores 14, Philadelphia covers. That's all they need.
You're
Dallas
sleeping
will
on
not
Cooper
fall in the
Rush.
end zone more than one time. I would put my house that I don't own, my future house, on that.
You're sleeping on Cooper Rush.
All right, next game, Dolphins -6.5 at Browns.
All right, this is a simple stat, and I hope all three of you guys take this stat and pick your game with it. The Cleveland Browns don't really know what's going on at quarterback, DTR, blah, 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 this, that. They have lost 4 straight games by double digits. 4 straight games by double digits. As much as we think the Browns have any pulse, they have no pulse. And I would like to say the Dolphins, who knows with them, but by a touchdown, a team that's lost 4 straight by double digits, Dolphins will win this game. Tyreek Hill anytime touchdown, A-Chain anytime touchdown, and they're going to win this game by probably 10 points.
So DTR starting, correct?
I can tell you,
I
man.
believe so.
Yeah, the Jameis experience, it's an interesting experience. But DTR, no. I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Dolphins, too. The one thing I checked was the weather, and it's supposed to be like 57 in Cleveland, so it's not too bad. Give me the Dolphins here, -6.5.
Yep. Clean sweep, boys. All taking the Fins.
You should have never switched Jameis out. I don't care how bad he's playing. The reason you lost 4 straight by double digits, I blame that. Even if he was playing.
All right, next game, Packers at Vikings. Vikings -1.
I hope we, you know what? Can we just all say the same here? Out of respect, we all take the Packers. Out of respect. Yeah. No one should go Vikings here. Out of respect. We don't want to, all good vibes in this game. Jeff, you did it last week with the Eagles. Maybe you should because you picked the Eagles.
No, I'm genuinely curious. Does anyone actually think the Vikings will win this? Is that like?
I think it's going to be a really good game. Like I think the Vikings have a chance to win it, but I think the Packers pull it out.
What do you guys actually feel for this game? I honestly believe the Packers will win. So I'm going with
I just think there's a side to where it's like it's hard to sweep a team in the season in the division, and I think that's like the whole thing with this is like they've already lost to them once, and they're playing at a higher level. The Packers are, so I just think like and they do have a lot of guys out. Actually, I was looking at their injury report today. They released it, and there's a lot of guys out, but I just think like Packers find a way to get the job done. I really do because they're essentially you got to think. I think the Packers. If they win and I think the Vikings lose out, which, versus the Lions, you could, I think there might be a chance the Packers go up and get the 5 seed. I could be wrong with that, but I think they're still seating in place with the Packers to pass the Vikings. So, like, they're looking at that like, hey, if we play the Vikings in the playoffs and, like, say we both upset a team, we would rather be playing at Lambeau than going to Minnesota.
We're on the same page.
I'm with you.
We're on the same page,
Yep.
right? All right.
Yep.
All right, final game, Falcons at Commanders. Commanders -4.5.
I typically this is a really good game. I typically would go Commanders. I just think it's going to be a close field goal game. And Falcons are fighting for the division. Commanders aren't. They're fighting for a playoff spot. Commanders are. I wouldn't like. I think the Commanders win this game. I just think it's like a 2 or 3 point win though. I don't think it's going to be more than 4. I think this is going to be one of the closer games of the weekend.
This one I struggled with too, because I want to pick the Commanders, but I like Michael Penix. And in my Falcons narrative, it's dead. But
it's really not. They have a chance to win the division still.
They're in the lead. They literally control their own destiny.
You know what? I'm gonna go Commanders.
I'm gonna yeah. didn't sound very confident there, Jeff. But I'm going to take the Falcons here. I think it will be a field goal game, like Boone said. 2 rookie quarterbacks, going to be a fun game. Give me the Falcons. This is like my least favorite pick because I like both these teams, and I kind of think this one's a coin flip.
Yeah, these teams outside of Bijan Robinson and Brian Robinson are pretty identical. You got rookie quarterbacks, defensive head coach, solid offensive lines. But I think the Commanders will win, but the Falcons, they keep it close. Like I said, like Bijan Robinson, I feel like that's kind of the X factor there. But I definitely think Falcons cover. It's going to be a fun game. I don't know if it's the most like you're not going to get the most highlights out of this game. I think Jaden Daniels could have some moments, but I think it's probably like a lower scoring game. I think both teams are probably under 20, but it's a field goal game. I agree with you and Boone. So give me the Falcons.
Right. That's pick 'em. There you go.
Come on now, boys.
See what happens. We got something earlier that I want to bring up. Jay Hart says, just tuning in, Booner. Is that a Pistons hat?
Yeah. Detroit Pistons, baby. We're back.
Shout out Jay Hart. He says, just tuning in, Booner. Is that a Pistons hat I see? Appreciate Jay Hart for that, man. But yeah.
Did I just have a mental glitch? Did I just have
did Jeff just read the...
No, he had two different.
Oh, I was like, Jeff, the way, Jeff, you went about that, I was like, I thought maybe I had my YouTube sound on, and I was just like, oh, no, I've got to go mute that. It was just the same thing. That was crazy.
What do you guys think score prediction-wise? What are you thinking?
Ooh.
For Monday night.
You want to go first, Caleb?
You can go. I'm trying to do some math in my head.
Yeah, I'm trying to do some quick mental math, but if I had to give just a gut feeling, I think the Lions, they get over the 30 mark. I think they do it. In fact, I think they clear it a little bit comfortably. I think they score 38. I think the Niners, I think they're going to struggle to put the ball in the end zone consistently. I think they do it twice, and I think they get a field goal. So give me the Lions 38, San Francisco 49ers 17. So that's what my score is. Lions win by, 21? 3 tutties? So they'll cover their spread.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Sorry, Jeff. I'm gonna go 30-21 here. That's what I'm gonna go with. Was that yours?
I had 31-21. So I mean, it's pretty close. Yeah. We're in the same kind of boat. I 31-21. Yeah. You're 30-21. Whatever. Yeah. Go ahead, Boone.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go Lions 42, 49ers 27. Oh. I think they put up a 40 piece here. On Monday Night Football. I think they dominate. Bunch of touchdowns. I'm going to take a big touchdown score parlay. And I think, obviously, the defense, like as much as I would like them to hold this Brock Purdy offense down, I just think they're going to give yards and points up throughout the rest of the year. So 27, I'm going to go 42-27. Take the over in the game.
There you go. We got some things. Oh, wow. Hold on.
Hey, shout out.
Life with Chris, man. Shout out to you, brother. He says, man, I've been watching all of y'all since the other spot. I'm so happy for y'all's success. 2025. What can we be looking forward? Could we see some on-field court press content? Salute y'all, boys, Eastside Detroit. Well, Life with Chris. We appreciate you, man.
Shout out, Chris, man.
You're a real one. But, Chris, to answer that question, we got a lot of things planned for this kind of, it's repeating. We got a lot of things planned. So stay tuned because we do have different content planned. Obviously, Caleb, now that you're here, hey, congratulations, my guy.
Saturday morning.
Yeah, and then outside of the shows, and we have a ton of content planned. So stick around for that, Chris. More like in real life stuff, but
2025 is going to be a big year for the boys too.
Yeah, we're excited. We're really excited for this year.
A lot of things that are going to happen. Maybe studio, things are going to start turning on, and it's
entering phase 2. This is we drafted our Panay Sewell. We go and we draft our Amon-Ra St. Brown. We got our pillars right now, but now we got to step 2.
We're building
2,
now.
Phase 3, phase 4. Come on, we're getting our Brad Holmes back this offseason.
We're getting our Brad Holmes back. I mean, for real. And also I got to give a shout out, man, because I saw this comment, Joseph. He says, Jeff, I'm sick. Give me a shout out to feel better. Hey, Joseph, shout out to you, brother. I hope you feel better. I was sick with the flu last week. It kicked my ass for sure. And
I had a couple days a couple weeks ago too. It was tough.
That was the worst I've ever felt. So I don't know what you're going through, Joseph, but hopefully you feel better. And you know what? Thanks for watching us while you're not feeling good. Although it stinks, you're watching the fellas. So we appreciate you. Hopefully you feel better. But I appreciate you all. Again, support's been awesome. I think we're about 4 subs away from 11,400. So we're about to hit that next 100 mark. So
rumor. I'm not saying it, but this is.
Oh, no. Cut it out. Cut it out.
I don't know who said that. Who did that?
Whoa.
But Caleb, dude, no comment, huh?
Yeah.
No, I have a comment. I have a comment.
Yeah, you
Plug
should.
talk with Caleb
Look,
and
I don't know
Gentry.
the rumors. I don't know the rumors Gentry's been spreading, but I don't see that happening. On
I know he's
Saturdays,
a little emotional with the Red Wings.
He
Do some
is.
consoling.
Yep.
he is. That team is fucking brutal, man. Hey, we'll talk about it tomorrow on the show. That
Yeah,
team
it'll
is
be
Come
brutal.
on now, Caleb.
Be a
There we
good
go.
time. Hey, appreciate you all for the support, man. Get your merchandise, officialctsports.com. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. And we love you all. Thank you for the support, man. It's been awesome. Super blessed. We'll see you guys tomorrow because Caleb
Tomorrow
and Mike.
morning,
Well, actually,
10
Mike's
a.m.
back next week, but you get the point. Show debuts tomorrow. So we'll cook tomorrow. It'll be a good time. Have a great weekend, everyone. Catch us Sunday. We'll be live. Don't forget that. Vikings, Packers will be live for the watch party watching that game. And then, of course, we'll be live Monday for the Lions game. So 2 lives this week. So stick around for Sunday. So, content all weekend.
Yeah.
So
be
stick around
exciting.
for it. But
Love it.
we'll catch you all. Have a good one. Have a good
Love you
weekend.
guys.
Peace.